loved anyone.
Loved anyone or anything, Joe, ever.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think I've loved any like bog standard Space Marine kit as much as this.
No.
I really liked the old Blood Angels Tactical Squad. Do you remember the one?
I missed the old tactical squads in general.
I really liked the old Blood Angels
Blood Angel
Tactical
Tactical was great.
Yeah, I really missed that one.
That was back in the golden age where every Space Marine bit fitted every Space Marine.
Yeah. That was a glorious day of Space Marine kit bashing. It was significantly easier. Although I was talking, someone asked me the other day about Grey Hunters and Blood Claws and how kit bashable are they. I was like, actually, Space Marines are still quite kit bashable because most of them, especially like the generic infantry stuff, have just got the flat arms.
Outside of, so on all Space Marine models now, outside of the torso and the legs, everything is interchangeable.
So you could take the Bloodclaw bodies, for example, and put Hellblaster arms on them. You could. Yeah. Or Grey Hunter bodies, put Hellblaster arms.
Well, that's why I like that gentleman's Black Templar box set over there. Its days are numbered.
It's not. It's for Matt. He bought it. Well, he's paid for it.
There was a very strong chance today that I nearly just took the models out of it.
That would not have been.
Because then I could have made Stern Guard.
You would have got disciplined
for my Dark Angels, or
because we don't own that box. It's been paid for by someone else.
Yeah,
Mr. Asbo has paid for that.
Why you come and get it?
Well, he will when he comes and quotes us for carpets for the hobby house.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I was going to say something then that would probably be classed as inappropriate for the internet.
Yeah,
but I think I want him to come up like some kind of like Turkish carpet baron. He'd just come and sell us some stuff. I want to go to his house as like a big bazaar.
If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, smash subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell notification icon. If you want to be notified every single time we live on a video, you wonderful human beings. Actually, it's interesting we start the conversation with Space Marines because we are here to talk about kind of Space Marines, actually. So one thing I will actually draw attention to before we get going is YouTube has launched a new feature today, and I knew the feature was coming, but I didn't know it was coming today, and it's not a great iteration yet. So if you guys have ever watched, if you've ever suffered through watching anything on Twitch, you'll know that on Twitch you can earn like points and stuff, and you can highlight messages and all that kind of stuff depending on your engagement in the chat. And YouTube is starting to dabble in that and dip its toes into it. And it's starting to bring a lot more streamer features in, which, as a channel that is 99.9% streaming on YouTube, I monumentally welcome it. So if you look, I don't know if it shows you guys, if you look in the top right-hand corner, I think it will show you, there's a community button, and that will give you rankings of people based on engagement in chat. You do get points for comments. I don't know how it caps or how it works. At the moment, it doesn't include gifted, but we are still very desperate for gifted memberships, chat. So I know you get a little XP if you do a super chat, but I would really appreciate it if we keep the gifting going as well.
YouTube, I think, is president of the companies that doesn't understand how its own product works. Like they're like, how does all of the algorithm work?
Well, so YouTube was like, when we get asked questions as creators, especially as part of the partner program, like one of the things we were like, membership goals would be great, and they were like, cool. So they released super chat goals. Like, no, we want membership goals, please. That's what we'd like. Like, okay, but we gave you super chat goals. And they do that kind of stuff all the time. So it doesn't help. So it does help us. So the engagement stuff, the community stuff is going to help us, right? And the reason why it's going to help us is because it encourages people to be more active in chat. And if chat is more active, your video goes higher up on the homepage of YouTube, specifically for people that have got an algorithm that means they like, for example, Warhammer content. So if chat's very, very busy, the likelihood that it puts our video on the front page of anyone who likes Warhammer and goes, recommended for you, you might not know this channel, but here you go, is actually really good, right? I'm here for it. That's amazing, and YouTube don't...
It's like a little crown on you.
Yeah, YouTube don't like the mess that is Twitch. So they're trying to ease it in gently and keep it tidy and clean. And I appreciate that as well. Like I would much rather not have the shit show that is the Twitch chat because it's a mess. But if we end up being spammed $1.99 super chats instead of gifted memberships here and there, that really fucking damages us. So I'm just throwing that out there. I know you're all excited about trying to be in the top 3 and getting a little crown next to your name with a number 1, 2, or 3, but you know, please think about the channel rather than your little dopamine hit. There we go.
We're saying, give us more money.
No, give us the same money you've been giving us.
Yeah?
Not more. I mean, I would appreciate more.
Or more condensed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might. What? Here's another thing that might have to happen legitimately, and I don't ever want to be this person ever, but this might have to happen. If this does end up, if people don't listen to us, which is fine, you can do what you want, and they end up just spamming $2 super chats or the light blue ones, the cyan coloured ones, we may have to just stop reading them because they'll just be spam super chats for the sake of XP, and at that point we just stop engaging with those small ones.
Yeah, but that's good for us though, surely. Because we don't have to interact with it.
No, I don't like it because sometimes people can't afford a big super chat, but they want to make their point heard and they want us to talk about it.
Yeah, but I think the difference is it's easier to tell in the actual context of what they've written. You know, like when you're scrolling through it.
Yeah,
there'll be a genuine question.
Yeah, of course.
Or there'll be Ash going like ooga booga.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. 100%. So, Space Marines, right?
Yeah. Love them.
I have never really loved them. I've liked them. I've been hot and cold with them. I've got really excited about them and then got bored of them very quickly, as Joe will be the first to tell you. I've always been a person who has preferred Divergent chapters, so things that are more unique. I always wanted Space Wolves to be very Viking, they never were. I then tried to go down like medieval vibes of Dark Angels and Black Templars and really struggled to get into it. When Blood Angels got released at the start of the year, I even picked up the extra Blood Angel box and I was going to do them myself as well because I really wanted to do a Space Marine. I feel like it's almost a rite of passage that a person who plays Warhammer 40k kind of has to have a Space Marine chapter at some point in their life. And I've always massively struggled to kind of get into it and fall in love with Space Marine models. Yeah. Now Space Wolves are here, and as I'm sure you were all aware, I'm sure you're all very aware, I'm incredibly fucking excited and I'm struggling to contain that excitement. And I'm obsessed. The kits are incredible, the models are beautiful, the new ones that are yet to come are stunning. It's amazing. And so I took some time actually this morning when thinking about what to do for a stream, perusing the Games Workshop website, right?
Yeah.
Because we have realistically kind of 5 main Divergent chapters, but I'm going to take one of them out of the equation, and that's Grey Knights. Because they don't really
They're not really a chapter.
They don't really fit a chapter, do they?
Yeah.
They can't take Intercessors, they can't take Redemptors. So I know people are going to go, Grey Knights, we're going to take them out of the running. We're going to go for standards.
Yeah.
We're going to standard Space Marine chapters that do use units from the Codex Astartes. Grey Knights don't use anything apart from Razorbacks, Rhinos, and Land Raiders from the Codex Astartes, right? So we're going to pull them out. In which case we're left, for Divergent chapters from Games Workshop at the moment, we're left with Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Black Templars, and Blood Angels.
Yeah.
I feel like, if I'm being completely honest, Joe, one of them got done really dirty. I feel like one of them is pretty good, and the other 2 are quite incredible at the moment.
Yeah.
And so that's why the stream title is the stream title, Why Are Blood Angels the Ginger Stepchild? That's what I wrote. Yeah. I even photoshopped the Blood Angel to have ginger hair.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I saw.
I was quite proud of that.
Yeah. It's like...
I just think it's really odd because I feel like Blood Angels was one of the most popular chapters for the longest time. So we've gone from... So what we were talking about, actually, we'll go live, this is relevant. We've gone from, they had their own special dreadnoughts, they had their own special predators, they had their own tactical squad, for fuck's sake, with loads of bits. They had dedicated Death Company squads, dedicated Sanguinary Guard squads. They had loads.
Got a Terminate squad.
Dedicated Terminate squad, thank you, I forgot about that. They had loads, and they just kind of got everything stripped out of them.
They are still the only one with a jump pack chaplain. Because that's the only chaplain you can get.
Who's firstborn though?
Yeah.
Right. But
but he is the only chaplain with jump pack.
He is.
Yeah, and then because their line was brilliant because you could really through the mix of the tactical squad, the Death Company, and the Sanguinary Guard, you could make every single and the Terminators, every single unit in your army. It doesn't matter what it was, is adorned in Blood Angel stuff.
Yes.
There was, like, everything was quite clearly a Blood Angels unit. Unlike when you look at someone like Salamanders or Raven Guard or Iron Hands, and they're like, you have a transfer.
Yeah.
You have a sticker.
Yeah.
And that is all. Like, Blood Angels are quite clearly Blood Angels. And when they got their new release, they did very well in the character department.
Did they?
In terms of named characters.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
They're all beautiful.
Like all the named characters were stunning. They gave those to the right people to do them.
I do have a gripe with them, but we'll go into that in a minute.
Is it Lamarty's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What part of Lamarty's?
The fact that he stood both feet down.
I don't mind that too much. His base annoys me.
Oh, he's the only one with a custom base.
He's the only one with a completely custom base.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. So it makes him really stand out.
I think, right, that Lamarty's was supposed to be a Horus Heresy model.
Do you reckon?
I think that's supposed to be a Horus Heresy kind of like special chaplain model.
That's interesting.
But anyway, so they did really, really, really well. And then they went, you get an upgrade sprue, like every other Primaris army in the world.
Yeah.
Dev Company are now don't exist. They have a data sheet, but they don't exist as a buyable box anymore. And also on the sprue, you don't get Dev Company shoulder pads to make them special.
Nope. Dev Company shoulder pads gone.
The only Dev Company transfers you get were part of the Dev Company box set that was limited edition. And when they're gone, they're gone. But the symbols were literally just a white skull and crossbones. All your special dreadnoughts are gone.
All of them.
Every one. Which is mental, because the box set made the Furioso, the Death Company Dreadnought, and the Librarian Dreadnought.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
Them losing that was legitimately why I was absolutely convinced that Space Wolves would lose their dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to just have to accept it. And when I got the book through a while ago, and I opened it up, and one of the first data sheets I saw was Bjorn, I was obviously very happy, but legitimately was quite surprised at the same time. Because when you go, because at that point, what they did was they kept Bjorn, as we know, and then they kept Murderfang and the Venerable Dread, despite the fact they're a bit derpy.
I think they have to because of the box set. Because it's in the
why
box
not
set.
keep the Blood Angels Furioso though? I don't understand why you would keep one and not the other. It doesn't make sense.
Well, because like the argument for keeping the Furioso, them going, oh, but the Brutalis exists, was like, well, that's the same argument for the Venerable Dreadnought and
and
Murderfang.
we talked about how they select things last night, and we basically agreed as a chat that mostly they just fucking throw darts at a dartboard, and that's what decides what stays and what goes. Because some people go, it's money based, and I don't think it is. Because as we said last night, you can still buy Metal Ezekiel from the Games Workshop website, so I don't think it's based on revenue. Because otherwise you wouldn't.
Yeah,
be
why did Ezekiel get to stay?
Yeah,
but Metal Zeph went.
Yeah, exactly. I reckon Seth's more popular than Ezekiel as well.
Yeah. They announced the Space Marine 2 updates coming next month. And yesterday, as part of the community thing, they announced that Flesh Tearers would be part of the Blood Angels chapter pack.
Oh, did they?
And I put in the comments, I cannot wait to be an official, legitimate Flesh Tearer, Space Marine 2. So many people responded to it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yes, we love Flesh Tearers.
Yeah.
Flesh Tearers are an insanely popular chapter with with a massive following.
Yep.
I think I know more Blood Angel, like Flesh Tearers people than I do Blood Angels.
But this is my point. This brings me to the topic of the video. So I feel like Space Wolves. I am surprised that Thunder Wolves and Murderfang stayed, and I'm not bothered by them things very much. But I am surprised. Surprised that we got to keep hold of them. But I think that on the whole, if we look at new releases, I think Dark Angels, and we're not Dark Angels, Space Wolves. We're talking specifically about model ranges here rather than rules for now, chat.
Yeah.
But I think Space Wolves have done incredibly well. So if you think about it, we've got new Blood Claws, new Grey Hunters, a new Wolf Priest, a new Wolfguard Battle Leader. That's 4 data sheets. New Logan, new Arjak, new Najal, and new Terminators. It's 8 different boxes of things. Oh, head takers. 9 different boxes of things.
Yeah.
That's a mad amount of stuff that's new and shiny and beautiful. And then we look at Dark Angels. And Dark Angels got new Deathwing Terminators. They've got the Lion. They've got Azrael. Yeah. They've got Belial. That's 4 already. They've got the Inner Circle Companions. That's 5. I'm probably missing a couple of bits. Oh, they've got the new Asmodai 6.
Yeah.
They're not quite as good, but they've done okay out of it, right? we know that Black Templars don't have the hugest number of kits, but let's face it, they've still got some beautiful ones. High Marshal Hellbright, Chaplain Grimaldus, Crusader squads, Sword Brethren, Emperor's Champion, Bayard's Revenge. I know he's another Emperor's Champion, but he's still a new sculpt, right? So they did quite well. That's another 6.
Oh, and they had the Castellans, they called?
Oh, yeah, the Castellans, sorry, and the Marshals. Yeah, so 7, should we call it 7, right? And then we've got Blood Angels.
Yeah.
And they got Dante. He's an old kit, but he's new-ish, right? They've got a new Blood Angels generic captain that's a bit shit.
It's really bad.
It's a bit shit.
It's worse than the generic. I would argue that the Blood Angels captain is worse than the generic lieutenant kit.
Have you seen a person, since the Head Takers came out, who's a Space Force fan, who thinks Head Takers look a bit shit?
No.
Neither have I.
No.
Have you seen a person, when Inner Circle Companions came out, who said that Inner Circle Companions look a bit shit? Who likes Dark Angels?
Maybe 1 or 2, but very
Not
rare.
really. And the same question for Sword Brethren?
Oh, they're all stunning, aren't they?
And then what happened when they released Sanguinary Guard? Blood Angels have been shat on, do you not think?
Yeah.
I know Dante came in 9th edition, I'm aware. I'm talking about like upscale Primaris kits.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm including Black Templars in this as well, Matty. Right? I just feel like Blood Angels got shat on. Death Company have changed to Black Assault Intercessors.
Yeah.
With an upgrade bit or 2.
Well, so all Death Company get from the upgrade sprue is the Eviscerator.
Yeah.
That's not a Death Company exclusive weapon.
No, correct.
Right? And then the Inferno pistol, again, also not an exclusive weapon.
Yeah. So if we include Templars as well, what Blood Angels have got, right, is they've got Lamartes, they've got Mephiston, they've got Astrath, they've got Dante.
Yeah.
And let's be fair, they're all beautiful.
Yeah.
They are all quite pretty.
You got the
I have an issue with Lamarte's base.
Yeah.
You've then got Sangard,
yeah.
Blood Angels Captain,
Oh, and Sang Priest.
Sang Priest. Is he Primaris, the Sang Priest? Oh yeah, he's on foot though, isn't he?
Yeah. But when but hilariously can't join Blood Angels units.
But on the surface, they've got 7 data sheets here of Primaris stuff.
Yeah.
But because one of them is not a character,
Yeah.
it feels like they've been shat on a bit here. And when I honestly believe now, my genuine belief at the moment is the faction that's got the best out of all the releases is Space Wolves. Generic infantry, assault infantry, multiple characters, elite infantry.
I can't remember who. So Garage Hammer says Space Wolves got more of a range update than Emperor's Children got as a new army.
They did. They did.
And I'm not. So I'm super happy for Space Wolf players. Like I'm trying very, very hard not to do Space Wolves, but I'm probably going to end up using a few Space Wolf models to make probably White Scars. But like I said before, it's the difference of the haves and the have-nots. You know, I was a massive Flesh Terror player. I have the Flesh Terror still, but I was forced into a situation where I had to play Blood Angels if I wanted the army to be remotely fun. But I'm not really a Blood Angels player.
You're a Flesh Terrors player.
I'm a Flesh Terrors player.
Yeah.
And being a Flesh Terrors player means that you play generic Space Marines, essentially, with Sangard.
Is this? Do you think honestly that this is literally just from the removal of Seth from the Codex? Do you think is it? Do you think if they put Seth back in,
Seth was back in, if they said we fucked up, right?
Yeah.
We know how important Seth is to the community and the player base, right? We don't actually sell a Death Company box set, so, but yet you still have rules for him. We don't sell Seth, but you can have rules for him.
Yeah.
And then just take his Legends rules and put them back in the Codex. Just say he's legitimate to play now, and that's it. And I think if they did that, I would be playing them again. If I could take Seth again...
So it's not even a model, it's just rules?
Just the rules, because I didn't use the model. I had the model, and I used parts of that model to make a Primaris scale Seth. Because Seth, in my mind, is the rules that he is to play on the table legally. Seth is not a 15-point enhancement
No.
on a captain that you can use once per battle.
I think Paddy says that quite a lot. Just use the enhancement. I'm like, to be fair, it's not the same.
No.
And let's face it, like he's not that different to Ragnar.
No.
Ragnar's new rules.
He batters the shit out of Ragnar.
Yeah, but in terms of their rules, they're not that different.
No,
right?
they're almost identical.
Yeah, they're similar.
Yeah. Like Seth has less attacks, but he's flat damage 3. But apart from that, they have very similar rules. I
wish Ragnar was damage 3, Joe. Oh my.
He'd have to have much less attacks.
Or many more points.
Or many more points.
Many more points, yeah.
If Ragnar went to 3 attacks, there's not much in the game that he does to damage. There's not much in the game that he doesn't kill.
Yeah. Especially when leading blood clots with reroll all the wounds.
Yeah.
It just becomes insane.
So, yeah, I just think...
So what do you think it is about Blood Angels? Because I feel like Blood Angels have actually been shat on.
Yeah.
Now, I'm unsure as to whether I think I don't think they've consciously been shat on. They just don't seem to put the effort in. And I don't understand why, because I always had the impression that Blood Angels were both Blood Angels and Flesh Terrors, for that matter, incredibly popular
I think
chapter.
by the numbers, right, and I think, I can't remember who it was, but someone had basically done the research in sales numbers and registered players that Blood Angels are the most popular Space Marine faction.
Are they?
Yeah.
So why have they got the shittest release? Unless they're like, who's afraid of me? Go away. Unless they're basically going, well, they'll buy them anyway because they're the most popular faction, so we have to put as much effort into these.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to make any sense though, does it?
Because it's like, so with Space, and it would have made more sense if they'd released new actual Death Company box set, new Seth, maybe a new Primaris squad or new Primaris Terminators for Blood Angels. Because because the argument would say, oh, they already own everything, so they don't need to buy it anymore. Look at Space Wolves. If you're a Space Wolves player, you're just going to buy more Space Wolves.
And Blood Angels Terminators are so fucking sought after because of things like Space Hulk.
Well, Space Hulk is the Blood Angels Terminator game. Mm-hmm. Blood Angels Terminators are possibly one of the reason why I fucking love Terminators.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like...
And now you've got generic Terminators.
Now I've got generic Terminators, and if I want the generic Terminators to be Blood Angels-y, I have to buy the Blood Angels Terminator kit, which is more expensive than the generic Terminator kit.
Do they still sell it?
They still sell it.
Do they?
It's direct order only.
Fucking hell, it's weird.
So you could go to ! Element and buy your generic Terminators, but you still have to buy full price.
I like the sponsor drop there. I'm a fan of it. Well done, mate. Yeah, good work. Yeah.
I'm angry. I'm not going to endorse the big boys at the moment, but I just think.
Would you agree then that they've been kind of shat on comparatively? Because a lot of people said. So I obviously just explained seven bespoke data sheets for them, most of which are new Primarista.
I was eating some biltong a minute ago, like stringy meat.
Yeah.
I'd argue that Blood Angels have the best detachment rules.
I agree.
Out of every Space Marine, which is more of an incentive for people to buy the models.
But isn't their best detachment rule also a Grotmus one, and not one that comes in the Codex anyway?
Well, the one in the Codex is still really, really good.
Yeah, but isn't the Angelic Inheritors the better one? Is that Codex or is that Grotmus?
Angelic is Grotmus, but I would argue, even if Angelic Inheritors didn't exist, I'd still say that Blood Angels had the best.
Yeah?
The best, yeah. And their rules for the Blood Angels units are really, really, really good. You know?
Sanguinary slap.
Vanguard, amazing. Mephiston's really, really good on paper. On the table, he just doesn't function as well. I can't figure out how to make Mephiston work. But Astrath is an absolute fucking unit.
I love Astrath.
He's terrifying on the table.
I love Astrath.
It's all really, really good.
Astrath is probably the only one I'm jealous of because I love that model and the lore behind him as well.
Generic Space Marine units in Blood Angels just become much better. So I don't understand why Games Workshop aren't supporting it, because they'll make more money.
No, Joe. Every decision they make is just about making money. Apart from evidently it's not.
It's not. It's just a weird decision.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? Like
maybe Blood Angels will be the 11th edition launch box.
I would put more effort and buy more things for Blood Angels if they just turned around and said, Seth's back. Morecom could do an article today or tomorrow and say, here's the rules for Seth.
Here's a question for you.
And his rules already exist, by the way. So all they have to do is just take it off Legends.
Here's a question for you as well, by the way. We put this up to poll last night on chat. Are you a moulded shoulder pad? If you had the choice of either, are you a moulded shoulder pad or very nice transfer person? Which do you prefer? Because I used to be moulded shoulder pad. I'm now becoming transfer because I think it looks more natural on the shoulder as a decal.
It depends on how complex the moulded shoulder pad is.
Because I've got, on the shoulder pads here, they're all nice and smooth. There's a wolf one there and another wolf one there, which is for the champion. The rest are all smooth. And I've started to believe that the wolf symbols look nicer as a transfer.
It depends on how complex the shoulder pad is and how intricate the design is, right? And the colours. So like the Dark Angels one, I don't mind the moulded shoulder pad because it's just
But so you don't mind it, but you'd rather have the transfer because it's nicer.
The transfer is much easier. But some of the moulded shoulder pads are really, really nice if the moulding is crisp enough. If the moulding kind of just goes, here's the pattern, and it just kind of like slides out, that's a fucking nightmare. But if it's a nice, crisp, straight line, it's really, really nice. If there's scrolls on it, it can get in the fucking bin.
So this is
because I can't do freehand.
This is a question we asked yesterday, and the majority of people, well, about 60% of people voted for moulded shoulder pads, the rest for transfers, and I was surprised. I thought it'd be the other way around. But I then think about, I've definitely now become a person who would rather use a nice transfer and do it well and battle damage it and paint over it and all that kind of stuff.
It's like
Then I would use a moulded shoulder pad. But that then got me thinking, especially specifically because of the conversation about Blood Angels, about chapter upgrade sprues. Do you think chapter upgrade sprues that include essentially, what is it, like 16 shoulder pads is just lazy because it's just 16? Would you not rather have multitudes of bolt guns and chainsaws and bolt pistols covered in iconography and just use transfers?
Well, if you look at it, so the Blood Angels transfer sheet's got loads and loads of shoulder pads on it for all the things, right? But I think they sell those because Games Workshop can't really sell transfers efficiently, because transfers are almost like, to do a good transfer, it's a bit of a skill, a learned skill and a technique.
But they also sold, for a while, they sold Heresy transfer sheets as separate sellable items, and they were always sold out.
Yeah.
So they must go, oh, they're really popular.
But I think it's because Games Workshop looks at Heresy as a modeller's
I'm looking forward to getting into Heresy.
Stuff. And I think, because it's like, it also depends on the chapter, right? So like Raven Guard, less is more on the shoulder pads. I've kind of gone knobbly bobbly shoulder pad on one side, and then the smooth
Operator
Corvus shoulder pad on the other side. Super smooth and beautiful.
Oh, the one with no trim?
No trim. So when I saw this box set with the no trim shoulder pads, I was like, oh, it's a bit of me.
You have hovered around this box set like a vulture forever.
It's just really, really nice. It's just a really, really nice Space Marine kit. And the thing is, I just want to build and paint Space Wolves. I don't really care about playing them. But it's just my love and desire for building and painting Space Marines.
It's just and for the first time ever, Joe, I'm starting to feel it. Legitimately.
And so transfers work really, really well for Raven Guard. But like an army like Blood Angels, you kind of want that in that nice, intricate inlay. You know, because they are like the artisan Space Marines.
Yeah, but like an inlay, like if it was a shoulder pad for like, say, the Death Company cross that's like scored into it rather than a big raised portion.
Oh, God.
Perfect,
I'd
right?
kill a man for that right now.
100%.
Yeah.
Right, better than a
We're
transfer.
very kindly given an entire Death Company army all in Firstborn at Warhammer Fest. And when the Blood Angel came out, I spent a long time prying it apart. For just the shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Games Workshop could make insane levels of money if they just sold a Def Company sprue. And that Def Company sprue was 20 shoulder pads, left and right, a couple fancy chain swords, some Def Company helmets, maybe 1 or 2 Def Company backpacks. That's all they've got to do.
Yep. I'm absolutely in agreement.
Just print money.
But I just think that the upgrade sprues in themselves. I used to be. Here's one of the reasons also why I think I'm transitioning from molded shoulder pads into transfers. When you buy a box like this, how'd you get all your transfers? They just come in the box, don't they?
Come in the box.
It's part of the. If I wanted to upgrade all of these to all have molded shoulder pads, I've got to spend another 20, 30, 40 quid on fucking upgrade sprues. Whenever I buy an upgrade sprue, I am almost always disappointed in it. It's almost always got a load of bits I'm never going to use because they're shit. One good head, one shit head.
Well, look at the Templars one, right? There's only 2 things that you take off the Templars upgrade sprue.
The multi-melter.
The multi-melter and the Judica's sword. That's it.
I wanted to use the shotguns.
Because when you've got a box set like this that comes with fully moulded chapter shoulder pads, you don't need an upgrade sprue.
No, true.
Because you've already got enough spare bits in this box set to do the rest of your generic Space Marines.
Yeah.
It was like I never understood the Cadian one. Here's more heads for Cadians.
The Cadian one was weird because on the one hand, I love the sprue. It's really nice. On the other hand, why?
Yeah. Out of every chapter that they've done so far, Blood Angels is the only one that they needed to not fuck up the thing. Like the Dark Angels one made sense because that came with a plasma cannon and also gave you Terminator shoulder pads for generic Terminators to make them into Deathwing. So they went out of their way.
And a torso.
Yeah. So they went out of their way to make sure you could very specifically make Deathwing Terminators.
Also at the time, to be fair, at the time as well, when they did that, I was a bit disappointed because we went from having a dedicated Deathwing Terminator kit to here is a Terminator torso and some shoulder pads and a plasma cannon, and I got quite sad. And then I saw what Blood Angels have got, and I was like, I'm going to stop whinging.
Yeah.
But, hey. I want to know what you guys think. I feel like Blood Angels, comparatively, chat, I feel like they just didn't get anywhere near as much love. I don't think they got anywhere near as much love as Space Wolves did. I think Space Wolves got the most love. Honestly, I'd probably put, in terms of kits and models, this is over rules. I think that I would probably, if I was to rank them from top to bottom, I'd go Space Wolves got the most love for kits, followed, I think, by Dark Angels, then Templars, and then Blood Angels firmly at the bottom, by quite a way.
So I think Space Wolves is the strongest range now. And having built all of the others, I would also go Dark Angels, Templars.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah? I would almost, I'll be honest with you, because if you think about, the other thing as well, if you really think about Blood Angels nowadays, with the amount that they remove from Blood Angels, their only non-character kit is Sangard, which a lot of people don't like.
Oh, for Primera scale?
Yeah. It's Sangard, which most people don't like, because lack of nipples, no wings. On
the lack of nipples is a weird fight to start, isn't it?
It's not a hill I'd die on, I'll be honest. I would be more fussed about the lack of wings and the lack of fancy shoulder pads. Do you know what
people hated about George Clooney's Batman?
No, but you're going to tell me.
He had nipples on his armour. He was the only Batman to have nipples.
Oh, was he?
Blood Angels players, clearly the opposite.
Yeah.
George Clooney would be their favourite Batman.
Yeah, because all the nipples.
All the others are shit. There's nippleless dweebs. Yeah, it's just
It is an odd hill to die on, isn't it, Jay?
I just don't get it, right?
Hope.
Originally, my Flesh Terrors didn't have any Sangard in my Flesh Terrors because Seth doesn't like them.
No. But then you kind of had to have them to make the faction.
But then I kind of had to have them. I only got them basically because I had a box set of Sangard because I was using some of the bits for the Flesh Terrors anyway. And they was like, because when they changed how Oath of Moment works, you didn't get rerolls to wound anymore. And I didn't want to have to build more Death Company because all my ones were Thunderhammers.
No nipples on the cat suit was goated.
Yeah.
Bat suit. I wasn't bothered about the nipples, but I was bothered about the wings and the shoulder pads.
So it's an interesting one, right? I don't like the original Vanguard wings. I took them off because I thought they looked shit, and they always broke all the time. Right?
So in terms of the actual model that existed before,
Yeah.
I agree.
Didn't like it, right? But the problem that we had with Vanguard, the worst thing that could have happened to Vanguard was that Age of Sigmar 4 came out.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. The Age of Sigmar, the Stormcast models.
The Stormcast models that had wings. And we were like, if they can do that, right? Because those ones with wings will replace the older ones that had wings, and the old ones with wings were shit. And they were like, we took the old models that had shit wings, and we gave them good wings, and they look fucking incredible, right? There's a reason why people use these models to make Vanguard. And then we got Vanguard. Mm-hmm. But also, the problem is they came after the controversy of Inquisitor Cotiez.
Well, yeah.
He
didn't do well, did he?
It was a compiling of shit stuff that happened to Games Workshop in like the course of like 2 months. So people were already upset about Cotiez because he looked fucking awful. And then we were like, but they can bring it back with the Blood Angels because the Blood Angels are the artisan Space Marines. They're the ones with the most pimping armor. They're the ones that look the best. Games Workshop, no Blood Angels is the community's favorite Space Marine army. They're not going to get this wrong. And then they stumble with the last hurdle.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Because essentially what happened is they took... This is always the problem. If you give someone something and then you take it away, they're going to be upset with you. So Vanguard had wings and they took them away, is what happened, essentially.
Well, the thing is, though, like the wings for me aren't the problem with Vanguard because I like the jump packs on the Vanguard. I like the spears. I like the swords. I am nonchalant about the helmets, you know? The two things that really upset me about the Vanguard was the removal, weirdly, of fancy shoulder pads.
Yeah,
They had generic Blood Angel shoulder pad, plain shoulder pad. Got rid of the very nice Vanguard actual wing shoulder pads.
It is an odd choice, isn't it?
Right? Because those are a massive part of the aesthetic for them.
Yeah, agree.
And then they just look really fat.
You know what? I feel like you're one of them then, Joe.
They're carrying a lot of water weight.
They do,
You know, they're wearing like, because they're not fat. They're not like Death Guard fat. They're like, like chibi models. You know, like they're like shorter, more squished out cartoon manga Space Marines.
Yeah.
When they went from these very svelte, nice, jumpy Space Marines.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the Assault Intercessor box, the Intercessor with jump packs.
Yeah, I mean, some of them as well. Games Workshop didn't do themselves any favours here as well, because when Games Workshop posed them, they posed them like morons too.
Yeah, that kit's infinitely better if you don't pose them
Whilst drunk.
like the instructions tell you. I've got 18 of them, and none of them are posed the same way as the thing. Also, Vanguard suffer from the same thing that every 3-man elite infantry box set suffers from. We talked about this before the stream. Games Workshop go, this box is 3 models. You can have 18 of them. They're all monopose.
Yeah. If I have close to no gripes with Space Wolves.
Yeah.
I adore the Head Takers kits. They're one of my favourite things they've ever done as a model range in general. Just because they're just so fucking Viking and metal. I love them, right? They're cool as shit. My biggest and only complaint for Space Wolves release is that they are incredibly monopose. They're not even Blade Guard monopose.
Are the arms part of the body?
No, the arms are separate, but a lot of them have grooves cut out of them to fit the cloaks. Yeah, exactly, right?
You lost me now. I was like, separate arms is fine, but it's part. So you have to be good at green stuff if you want to convert them.
I'm gonna have to have a play.
Yeah.
And maybe mix Blade Guard in.
That's fine. I like that.
To try it, just because I don't want all the same poses.
Yeah. Well, just do what Fletcher did. Just be incredible at both painting and modelling.
I would like to be like Fletcher in terms of painting and modelling, Joe, but he is an absolute fucking freak of nature.
Yeah.
It's unlikely I'll be like Fletcher
in a
ever.
good way.
In a lovely way. I love the man. He's a wonderful human. I spoke to him many occasions, but when it comes to hobbying, he is a freak of nature.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just don't understand. They just made all the wrong decisions with Blood Angels. I think, apart from the rules. The rules team had it right.
Yeah, the rules team did nail it. This is why it's such an odd choice that the models are so kind of meh and disappointing.
So what I think it is, I'm probably making this up and it's not true, right? Is they gave Blood Angels to the office assistant, you know, the what are they called? The new hire, the young people.
The apprentice.
The apprentice, that's right. They went, people love this army so much, you can't fuck it up, they'll buy it anyway, right? And then we'll give Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Black Templars to the experienced people, because they're not as popular.
Are they not as popular, really?
Well, they're not as popular in the grand scheme of, they probably sell similar, but not as much.
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
And he dropped the ball. No one signed it off. You know? Because that Space Wolf range is stunning.
The Space Wolf range is stunning. And the thing is as well, like Space Marines in general are, I've never been a fan of generic Space Marines really. I did get a real fucking hard on for Ultramarines because of Space Marine 2. And actually,
we all did. I've got all the Ultramarines.
One of the beautiful things about Ultramarines as well is you can take a standard Intercessor squad, do nothing to it, and it fits as an Ultramarine. It just works.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is lovely. And that sings to me quite a lot actually, because you can do nothing and it looks great as an Ultramarine. But let's be honest, for the majority of it, Space Marines, barring a few data sheets, are beautiful models. Let's be fair. Like, if we get rid of T-shirt Marines, fucking Centurions, one or two other data sheets, they're very, very pretty. In fact, so often we talk about how, for example, Reavers are stunning and no one takes them because their rules are shit.
Yeah.
But they're beautiful. People still buy them because they're pure.
So I remember Jez Goodwin doing a talk, like an interview, and he was like, oh, Reavers are so good. We sell loads of them. They're one of the best selling Space Marine kits at the time. Selling loads. But we didn't realise is that no one was fucking buying them to use them as Reavers. Like, every single Chaos player, like loads of them were just buying Reavers just for their helmets.
Yeah, if any of you out there, by the way, have tons of spare Reaver helmets that you don't want, get in touch.
Why do you need them?
Because Reaver helmets are fucking cool, and I'm now making Space Marines.
Oh. So like Night Lords players were just fucking gushing over them.
Yeah, I think Reaver helmets are one of the best things ever to exist.
It's great.
But even the models are quite nice, like the poses and stuff of the models.
Yeah, so like I've just done 10 infiltrators for the Dark Angels, and I was digging around the house looking for Reaver bodies.
Yeah.
Because I want the dynamic running poses.
Yeah.
I couldn't find them, which bugged me. So I'm gonna have to go and sort the garage out over the weekend and see if I can find them so I can make more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when I did like the Raven Guard, I bought Reaver box sets and Infiltrator box sets just to make only Infiltrators. But I just wanted those arms and legs.
Yeah, they are stunning.
So generic Space Marines are fine, but just Games Workshop don't really do enough to make generic Space Marines have more character. And realistically, all you need is shoulder pads and helmets. I'd argue you don't even need the guns or the swords.
I'll put the aircon on.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree. We can also start talking to chat soon as well. I think it's interesting. I'd like to know what chat think about it, as to whether they think that we're accurate, or if people go, no, I don't know what we're talking about, they're fine. Like, Blood Angels have got lovely models. I don't think they're bad models, but I just think that comparatively, when we see what Space Wolves have got, and we see what Dark Angels have got specifically, and I would still argue even what Templars have got, I think that Blood Angels have got seen off.
I mean, I really like my
penis.
Death Company. I love my penis too. He's a great chap. But I like my Death Company. Yeah. But the reason I like my Death Company is because I had to go through the painstaking effort of having to sort decent arms and legs for them, you know, to make them look like Death Company.
Yeah.
And it's one of those. And if I didn't already have those things at home, my Death Company army would just be I could literally just use my Raven Guard Assault Marines. I could just be like, I've got Assault Marines for Raven Guard. I won't put transfers on them because it's all just black.
Yeah. You couldn't do that.
I couldn't do that.
That would trigger you. If you just had generic black Space Marines with no decals on that you could use for any chat, there's no way you'd ever do that.
No.
That's just not
No,
you.
I used to work with someone that did that, and it fully sent me.
Did it?
It made me so angry.
Uses any chapter whenever you want.
Yeah, like Death Watch, Dark Angels, Blood Angels. It made me...
You're very narratively focused, though, aren't you? Do you think that hampers your competitiveness somewhat?
I think, yes, it does hamper competitive play, but at the same time, I think if I didn't kind of dig into that, like I have non-negotiables, there are units I like and I want to take, I don't think I'd ever play a tournament.
Could you, if there was something that was so narratively abhorrent that it would just never exist, but you were able to do it on the tabletop and it was the strongest combination, could you do it?
No, don't think so. So for instance, right, it's Games Workshop's law, they can change it however they want, right? They can say this thing was always there.
Yeah.
They've always been there. Like the new Horus Heresy Saturnine box.
Yeah.
The models for the Saturnine stuff, I didn't like them when they were shown off, but they've grown on me and I'm kind of okay with them now. Right?
I think they're really nice.
I think they are nice. I think the more I've seen them, the more I'm like, yeah, they're nice Terminator sculpts. They're nice.
Yeah, I agree.
They're nice models. The Saturnine Terminator Lord is actually a really nice model.
Yep.
I can't wait to build and paint those models. Very, very excited for that.
Yep.
But what annoys me, and it irks me in the back of my mind, is that the Saturnine Terminators weren't there at the time.
Specifically for the Drop Site Massacre.
Specifically for the Drop Site Massacre. And I'm like, Horus Heresy players are all about lore, and they're kind of just like, I'm like, and they'll be like, oh, they use it because they want the cool Saturnine and stuff. But I'm just like, I can't have them in that battle, you know? But if Games Workshop turned around and said, so there was... prime example of the most broken thing in 40k, and I couldn't bring myself to do it, right? In the 7th edition Warhammer...
Are we talking about demons here?
No.
Okay.
Right. 7th edition Warhammer, there was a period of time, it was late 6th into 7th, where you could run mixed chapters of Space Marines in one army. And you would have a unit of Ravenwing Bikers...
Yep.
with a White Scar captain.
Yep.
No, it was a White Scar's librarian, because he had a special psychic power. 3 Iron Hands captains, because those things were nigh on unkillable. And a Space Wolf Iron Priest on a Thunder Wolf. And there was this Death Star unit that was invisible, so you could only hit them on 6s. And when you did hit them, you just tanked it on the Iron Hands bike character, who was like a 2-up save, 4-up invuln, Eternal Warrior, so all damage was like turned to
Gorgon's Chain as well,
it
so
was
feel no pain.
Fucking awful.
I remember the Gorgon's Chain.
It was just an insane combination. I was like, I can't do it.
I remember in 7th edition, Grey Knights librarians could summon demons.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, no. No. Well, loyalist librarians could summon demons.
Yeah,
I was just like, no.
That was one of the
wrong.
decisions of all time in Games Workshop. Well done. Right, I'm going to jump into chat now. You lot have been really busy. Thank you so much. We are, however, on 33 of the finest members. I would love for us to get to 50 before we finish the show today. That would be incredible. But there is a ton to get through. Thank you so much. I'm going to do the blue ones for now. We gave you the warning at the start of the show. We'll see. Thank you, Drew, for the $2. He says test the XP thingy. Thanks, Man Your Religion. Thank you, Kev, for the $2. Testing 1, 2, 3. People just testing to see if they get experience. JK, thank you for the 5. Talk about unloved. When was the last time Eldar got actual new models, not resculpts of stuff they've had since the 90s? Lycus, Shroud Runners exempt.
Yeah. So I'll exempt all the things that invalidate my argument.
But he says since the 90s, Jay. So he hasn't exempted all the things that invalidated his argument.
No.
Because he hasn't exempted Wraith Knights,
Yeah.
Spirit Seers.
Yeah.
They're both brand new sculpts since the 90s.
The Hemlock.
The Hemlock. the Crimson Hunter Hemlock combinations, new sculpt since the 90s.
Yeah.
And there is definitely more.
Well, they've resculpted all of the Aspect Warriors.
But they are resculpts. He's asking for new kits specifically. Also, I think if someone said to me, here's a brand new Eldar unit you've never had before, but you've still got fine cast all aspects, I'd spit at them and push them over.
Yeah. So
I would rather Eldar have had some of the most impressive releases over the course of the last 5 years.
Autark on foot, Autark with wings.
He was strictly a resculpt.
But he was a resculpt of a model that was released after the 90s.
Yeah, true. You've then got
the Farseers on bikes.
You've got the Avatar if you need. You've got Cat Lady.
Yeah.
And her bodyguard.
Yeah.
Farseers on bikes, they're a new kit since the 90s. And Warlocks on bikes, obviously part of the same kit, but they're a new kit since the 90s.
The entire Drakari plastic range.
I mean...
Harlequins.
Already done himself any favours here.
Everything that Harlequins have got.
Jay, I love you very dearly, my friend, but you've just put your foot right in the shit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Ash, thank you for the $2. What is this leaderboard nonsense? Well, I think we've all learned by now. Colonel Claypool, what a great name. Thank you for the orange one, you absolute fucking hero. First time I've been able to catch Liam and the Best show live because my flight to Newark has been delayed. Keep up the good work, lads. Hope to meet you all in person next time you visit the Titans in California. # Team Joe. We're all Team Joe, really.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Corsair.
Newark is in...
Corsair Kill Team. That's another one, yeah. That's...
Yeah.
Not done himself any favours.
The Night Spinner, the artillery pieces, what they call the weapon platforms.
Well, weapon platforms are new kit?
No, because you had the normal weapon platforms, which were an old metal kit, but then you had the artillery ones that they sit in. Like like the vibro cannons and stuff.
I mean, Eldar have done very well over the course of the last few years, let's be honest. And that's alongside basically having their whole range refreshed to some new gorgeous kits as well.
Everything that they had in Forge World all came after the 90s.
Yeah, I don't like to include Forge World. We'll keep it plastic. Yeah. Thank you for the orange, anyway, Colonel Claypool. Whenever I get the chance to go back. So I'm going to be honest with you, I miss Titans and I miss California. I fucking love California. I love being out there. I'd quite like to spend a lot of time out there. But there's a couple of main issues. The big one is it's fucking expensive to go to California.
Yeah.
And it's even more expensive if I don't do as much streaming as I do here because then it costs, right, at the same time.
Yeah.
That being said, even if I had the funds, we're about to move into the build hobby house phase, and I really won't be able to afford to spend a lot of time away, not even just from a financial perspective, just because I've got to build this mammoth beast and try and get it up and running and working. However, that's not to say never. I will at some point be going back to California, and I'm sure we can catch up for a beer or something when I'm over there and do. I'd like to do some more US side meetups as well, especially because some of the meetups we do here. Now I've taken the pressure off of having to run an event and do this and do that and do something else. Like Joe's day on Friday was perfect because it's literally just turn up, play Warhammer, organise yourselves, but just be in each other's company. It was fucking great.
It was lovely.
Yeah, I'd like to do more of those, so, in the future. But thank you for the $20, man, you're a legend. Kat, thank you for the 5. Are we continuing with this chat from Thanes about Space Marine data sheets? Remember when each Marine squad had a specific defined role? Pepperidge Farm remembers, but they didn't.
They didn't, because tactical squads couldn't split fire.
In fact, now units have got a more defined role than they did before. Because tactical squads used to be able to take a las cannon and a flamer and a chainsaw or a power fist, whereas now you've got hellblasters and they're just all plasma guns. Yeah. So now they're more defined and specific than they ever were before.
Yeah, because you had the choice to fire your melter gun as a vehicle, and then the other 9 guys with bolters can't shoot at anything.
Yeah. Whereas now you take eradicators, and guess what? You shoot all of your melter guns at that vehicle.
Yeah.
Even though you can split fire. But I think what he's getting at is a point that I do miss, where you used to have a tactical squad that was multi-role, and then you had a Devastator squad that was like, it is the Devastator squad, and now you go, Devastator squad was Devastator squad, but now you've got T-shirt launchers, Hellblasters, Eradicators, like they've split it into multiple data sheets.
I don't mind them being split into multiple different things. So like my Devastator squads always have had all heavy bolters, all multi-melters, it really set me off when someone turns up with one melter gun, or one multi-melter, one missile launcher, one las cannon, one heavy bolter. I'm like, what is your aim here?
Yeah, but
What are you trying to achieve? Whereas, like, I think I'm dreaming of the day that we get either a 3-man aggressor squad or a 5-man heavy bolter squad. It's all I want in life right now.
yeah, but
I just want a bunch. I want 5 guys all with heavy bolters.
my point
giving it big
is,
licks.
the data sheets are more dialed in now than they ever were.
Oh yeah.
Metal guns.
Every unit has a specific battlefield role.
Eradicators just kill vehicles. Hellblasters just kill elite infantry.
Yeah.
Like they're very specific now compared to what they were before. They're even more specific because before you could take a Devastator squad, which was your dedicated heavy support, and you could take 2 heavy bolters and 2 las cannons. That doesn't necessarily do one thing well, like really well. And now Eradicators not only do they have melter guns that are very good for killing vehicles because of their damage characteristic, but they specifically have a rule that says they reroll hits and wounds and damage versus vehicles.
Yeah.
So they're very defined now. Like that's literally what they're there for, nothing else. So I don't know. But thank you for the $5 anyway, man. You're a legend. Squirrel noob! Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you. I hope that you get to watch at work today from your window fat people fall over. Let's give you a good giggle at work. There's nothing funnier, is it really?
No, that's a reasonable hope, I guess, Joe.
As a fat person, I find it funny when I fall over.
Do you? Yeah. I don't. I care about you too much.
But not if I don't get hurt. If I get hurt, then I get annoyed. But yeah, like people falling over in general is just funny, isn't it? It's always good.
I mean, I'm sure they probably wouldn't agree, but you know, thanks, mate. Ash, thank you for the blue one. Random bullshit go. Kianan, thank you for the 2020 Danish credit. Spam XP farm. YE55, thank you for the 1 gifted membership. And then Grey Cartographer, thank you for the 5 gifted membership.
I'm having a shoulder pad problem.
Yeah.
5 gifted membership.
From Grey Cartographer.
I hope that...
What's a cartographer?
Cartographers are, if I'm correct, are people that measure the lands, do maps and shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Like, because you get the cartographic maps, don't you?
I don't know.
He's out there measuring trees and hills and stuff.
I don't know, Joe, that's what I'm asking.
Real panty dropper stuff. Just drowning in the Tang.
Drowning in the Tang.
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting, right? We've been talking about how nice it is to build Space Marines. I don't like building Death Guard.
The Terminators are shit.
Because they're all monopose.
They're shit to build in general. The Death Shroud are monopose, but the Death Shroud are quite nice to put together. The Plague Marines are sort of monopose. You can build 2 from each. Really nice to put together. Blight Lords, shit.
Yeah, they're just a bit... Because you can't, without hard work, have different arms.
No, they're going to be a challenge for you if you want to do many Terminators, which I know what you're like, you will.
A target draws maps from what? Blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah,
I
blah,
missed
blah,
it, it was
blah.
going too fast. Draws maps, really bums maps. I hope that you get to travel this winter with your work to like nice places to measure and look at.
That's a cool hope.
Like they're like, oh, you get to spend a wonderful weekend in Kent measuring hills, Go to all the Christmas markets. Or, you get to go to the north mists of Scotland during Halloween. Get some pumpkins out. Boom.
Yeah, so hang on.
What are you doing?
Just looking at these models
Yeah? You've had ages to do that.
because they are fucking quite dynamic. So I need to make sure they're on the right spot in the base. Look at that for a pose.
Yeah?
You can do quite a lot with that, can't you?
Bit of a bum.
You could, yeah. Thank you, Gray. Anyway, you're a legend. We are currently on 38 members, 2 away from 50. I'm ignoring that one from Ash. Thank you so much, Kianon, for the 10 gifted memberships. Kianon. I'll
Thank you,
forgive him
Kianon.
for his XP farming earlier.
I hope that your pet doesn't get ill and cost you £1,200 in vet bills.
Is that what it cost you?
Yeah.
Did it?
It fucking hurts. When they told me, I was like, "Ugh." I love my dog too much to let it die, but
Jesus, what was wrong with it?
it had an infection in its lady bits and had to have an emergency spaying.
Oh.
I mean, we were talking about getting it spayed anyway. But
Is she insured?
No.
Oh, that sucks.
Thing is, though, like dog insurance or pet insurance is fucking extortionate if your dog's older than 5 years.
Yeah, mine's £100 a month.
Yeah. So I looked at it for our dog who's 9, and they were like 80 quid a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, or I don't. And then when the vet bill comes through, I'm basically spending the same money anyway.
Yeah, Lucy and I have had a legitimately really serious conversation recently about like her age now, because ours is 12. But her age now, how much are we going to actually put into medicine to keep her alive if she's suffering at this age? You probably don't. So do we really want to be spending £100 a month in dog insurance? No. But what if they go, actually, it could just be a really expensive operation, she'll be fine for 5 more years. Then we'll be gutted we didn't have the... It's really horrible. It's a really horrible place to be. But, yeah, that's a shame. It's a solid hope, though, Joe.
Chris Lawton says, "Lady bits, how old to me?" I could say I can't remember the actual name of the thing, but there was a lot of discharge. You know? It wasn't
Lovely.
nice. It wasn't nice. You know. But yeah, I was like, so now I need to figure out a way of making that money back. So I might just sell something.
A kidney.
A kidney. Yeah. I was about doing an auction. We were talking about auctions the other day, weren't we?
Yeah, we are talking. I've got a limited edition Volume 1 End of the Death that I might auction off.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, could I just paint a model and then just auction that off and just be like, please?
Yeah, because if we auction it, it's not one person donating loads of money. It's loads of people. It's loads and loads and loads of people. Was that one I just snipped off?
Just
buying a £5 ticket, for example.
It goes to a good cause. My dog's vagina.
Yeah. If you too want to pay for, we'll make sure that the thing. We'll make sure that the thing quite literally says dog's vagina when you bid on it.
Yeah.
That's 83. That's the wrong one. That's the next guy.
Yeah.
And then your bank manager won't ask any questions.
No. It'd be all right.
Yeah.
It'd be fine.
Be fine. Is she all right now, though? Yeah.
Oh, she's fine now. She's at home and she's got this big thing of pajamas on at the moment.
I fucking love a dog.
So yeah, after spending £1,200, she was bleeding a lot yesterday, but we managed to sort it out.
That's weird.
But I phoned them at 7 o'clock. They're like, oh, they have to pay the out of hours charge, which is £80 just for them.
Yeah,
to come.
I know. They're robbing
like,
bastards, aren't they?
Bastards.
They're fucking robbing bastards.
And I was like, we've got medical stuff here. We could do this ourselves.
Fucking staple gun.
Yeah. Luckily, we didn't have to. It was just a change of dressings and stuff.
Thank you, Necromancer Goblin, for the 50 Danish krona. Feel like Iron Hands should be a Divergent chapter. They are the ones who gain the most from the AdMech and the ones who get a lot of relics. I feel like, and I'll say what I think first, because Joe is way more educated on Space Marines than I am and probably will ever be. But I feel like all of the Loyalist and Heretic chapters, every single one of them, could quite conceivably be a Divergent model range. Because I think that if you look at Heresy, for example, every single Legion has a special elite infantry, normally a special Terminator unit, some special characters. I genuinely think that they could, if they really wanted to, I feel like they could do it for every chapter. They could do it for Iron Hands, they could definitely do it for Salamanders, they could definitely do it for White Scars and go down that like Genghis Khan kind of vibe.
The thing is, though, right? They only have to release one box set for each chapter as long as it's not Terminators. Right? I mean, they can do Terminators. They could do an upgrade box, a Primaris upgrade pack for every chapter, which has got shoulder pads and...
Do you think...
Shoulder pads for all different types of units.
Do you think introduction of things like Inner Circle Companions and now Head Takers is a sign, potentially, that Games Workshop in the future, when thinking about Iron Hands, Raven Guards, White Scars, are going to start doing individual kits for them? Because Head Takers... let's be honest, Inner Circle Companions and Head Takers, let's be really, really honest, what are they?
The Blade Guard.
They're Blade Guard. They're exactly what they are. They're Blade Guard, essentially, in essence. There's a couple of nuanced differences, but essentially they're Blade Guard. So do you think that this means that in the future we're going to see maybe a Blade Guard sort of equivalent for Iron Hands and...
Potentially.
Maybe it's not Blade Guard, maybe it's like an aggressor equivalent for Iron Hands, for example, but...
So you could... A Games Workshop has a game system in place to allow them to release box sets of mixed units, and that's Kill Team, right? They could release so we'll take Raven Guard for instance, because they're my faves. You can release a Raven Guard Kill Team, which is a mixed unit of Phobos and Primaris stuff, right? And that box set gives you 10 people with Raven Guard torsos, legs, Raven Guard knives and swords, like hammers, maybe like a Raven Guard jump pack. They've all got different variations of beaky helmets and then maybe there's like one in there that's got like a nice shield, right? As a Raven Guard player, you're not just buying that box set once. You're buying that box set 3 to 4 times. Because I can make an entire Space Marine army from this box and the existing range of basic Primaris Marines. Because you can then take the body that's got some Raven Guard bits on it and then use generic intercessor arms and head on it. And then you can take the shoulder pads and heads that you didn't use on him and spread that out over some normal people. And then the shields, you can go, cool, I've got 3 Blade Guard that all have specialist Raven Guard shields.
Do you think there's a risk there, though, that they're going to have quite monopose models then within a Kill Team set, because Kill Team's not going to be more than, say, 10 models?
But you're not going to buy that box 10 times and make every unit out of one of those models. You just take the shoulder pads, the heads, and you spread them out over an army. So the army's in different poses. You'll have a couple duplicate models in there.
So you essentially use it as an exceptional upgrade sprue, in essence.
But they could also go, here is a unit of 10 elite Raven Guard sharpshooters.
Yeah.
There's 10 of them. Maybe it's a box that makes 5 times 2, or an actual unit of 10 individual sculpts. And they've all got cloaks and beaky helmets and a really nice kind of like Stalker bolt gun or sniper rifle that then, much like the other Kill Team, just slots into your army. But then at the same time, you could go, I'm going to take those bits, do some arm swaps or some gun swaps or head swaps, and now these are my Stone Guard as well.
I'm not against it.
But they could do the same for, like, we had the Leviathan box set. Ultramarines never got Tyrannic War Veterans. That's a Kill Team box set on its own.
You would fucking come everywhere as well, wouldn't you?
I really want to do a Tyrannic War Veterans Ultramarines army.
Yeah.
That's literally the base of it.
What stands them out? What makes them different?
But they'll have they're basically this entire army of Stern Guard, Blade Guard, Terminators, basically. So they're all first company veterans, so the white helmets, white trim. But all their transfers, all of their army symbols have got Tyranid stuff interwoven into it.
Are they heavily weathered?
Yeah, they'll be heavily weathered.
I'm into it.
Really nice Ultramarines. They'll have why
haven't we done this?
I started.
You're just not mastermind.
I just haven't had the time to finish it. Maybe that is my super duper army that I do. But
that sounds fucking cool.
But what they're missing, but like the Phobos the Phobos lieutenant that came in the Leviathan box set was basically a Tyrannic War veteran, because he had like a Tyranid armor on his stuff. So that's what the Tyrannic War veterans have. They just have like knives with like bits of Tyranid stuff hanging off. That's a Kill Team.
That would be a great Kill Team. Honestly, that'd be a great Kill Team.
Yeah, and they'd sell fuckloads.
They fucking would. They would as well, to be fair.
But the same thing that you could do, you can have a unit of Iron Hand Primaris breachers. Iron Hands, all with massive breacher shields and a mixture of close combat weapons and guns.
I quite like Iron Hands. You're not a fan, are you?
Just boring. They're just because they're not black; they're like dark black silver.
Yeah, I quite
kind of thing. And and they're kind of like heading in the direction of Iron Warriors, but not quite there.
Now they've got 3 variants of the Redemptor. I'm quite into Iron Hands.
I think that Iron Hands are basically what Blood Angels are to Flesh Tearers. You know, Iron Warriors are the next logical step, you know, from Iron Hands.
Okay.
So, but without the cutting off your penis and replacing it with like
A jackhammer!
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you telling me you wouldn't cut off your penis and replace it with a jackhammer?
No, it'd be really heavy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know what that's
I don't like wearing watches because I feel like it's weighing my arms down.
Really? Is that why you don't wear anything on your arms?
Yeah, plus that and the autism.
The tisms.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's touching me. You know?
My Viking tunic turned up yesterday, Jay. I love it.
I think it's cool. It's flowing, isn't it? It's comfortable.
I'm trying to work out how I can wear it more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just accept the lifestyle.
I might do.
You could get that. You know, there's people that you have those like hippie girls that wear the cowhide belts of all the pouches, which is basically just a builder's tool pouch, just made of cowhide.
Yeah.
You could get one of those. You know.
I'm very much enjoying these Space Marines, and that's not a sentence I often thought I'd say.
Yeah. And they're enjoying you.
Joe's very upset that he doesn't get to do Space Wolves, by the way.
I was so set up to do Space Force as well. I've got all the bits at home. It's going to be one of those things where. Did you ever watch that documentary about secret eaters? It's fucking hilarious. Basically, they put cameras in people's cars, fatties, right?
Yeah.
And then the amount of people that leave their house at like 2:00 in the morning to go to McDonald's drive-thru and then sit in their car and eat burgers and stuff. That's me, but with Space Wolves at some point, where I do secret Space Wolf builds.
I know a person who used to hide alcohol in the boot of their car.
Yeah.
And go out and have a swig.
One of my exes didn't like the fact that I did Warhammer. So what I do, whenever I bought Warhammer, is I take all the sprues out of the box, leave the box in the store, and then in like a rucksack, get the sprues into the house, you know? And then you're like, well, they're always here, you know? Just sprues. You know, they come in box.
I'm currently making blood claws from the big Space Wolf box set. I love them so much. And I normally get to basic infantry and don't get to character. This is why I like Divergent chapters so much. Normally, I can build characters all day long and be quite happy with it, and I can paint characters quite often as well. I quite like character painting, and then it gets to generic units or big units, and I get really bored. But building these are a joy to put together. And I've built 5 Grey Hunter torsos at home as well, and they were a fucking joy as well. But Joe's a bit sad because I think he thought, yeah, Lynn will just give them to me to do anyway.
Well, I was like, I'll get them so we can get them done in time.
No.
But that's why I've really thrown myself into the Dark Angels.
I'm glad, because you know what's got a great rivalry, Joe? Dark Angel Space Wolves.
Yeah. I do think the Dark Angels probably come out on top rules-wise, though.
Yeah, if you go for, what, in terms of data sheets or detachments?
Both, I suppose.
I don't know about data sheets. The Lion is pretty fucking monstrous.
Yeah.
But I think Head Takers and you know, OC3 Grey Hunters and Blood Claws of Advance and Charge, I don't think Space Wolves are doing bad for rules.
Oh, no, the rules are great. The rules
Detachment-wise, I think Dark Angels is probably better.
Yeah. Deathwing Knights are the big curveball in that situation because there's not much in the game that really stands up to Deathwing Knights.
Deathwing Knights are insanely good. Deathwing Knights I'm slightly jealous of.
Yeah.
Deathwing Knights and Inner Circle Companions are my 2 favourite thing about Dark Angels, though. I like the Lion quite a lot as well. I can take or leave Azrael, I can take or leave Belial, I can take or leave Standard Terminators, I can take or leave... Funny old thing is a huge motorbike fan. Now I can take or leave all the Ravenwing stuff because it's not actually Ravenwing, it's just Black Outriders. So I can take or leave it.
I think we're getting them next edition.
Yeah.
I think 11th edition is the vehicle edition.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Do you reckon they're just using all their vehicle fucking people to make Horus Heresy?
Or they're trying to phase vehicles out of the game.
Do you know what? I'm not massively against that.
Because vehicles don't really work well in competitive 40k. Because you don't really see... like vehicle heavy armies do exist in competitive 40k. Like it's one of the main Chaos Space Marine builds is all vehicles. But there's so many armies that just work without it. But I'm going to say, like someone's mentioned Sam, I fucking love Samael.
So,
I'm trying to fit him into my tournament army for next weekend, and I'm like, but I can't.
But Samael's old Joe, right? Primarisify Samael. Here's going to be a fucking beautiful kit.
Yeah.
And he's just a bit shit and derpy right now.
His model is a bit shit and derpy, but his rules are really fucking good.
Yeah, I know his rules are okay. I guess I always go for model over rules.
I think I'm going to try and slip him in. I might have to change my fucking tournament list.
You'll try and slip it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chat, we are still on 39 members now. Thank you so much, you wonderful humans. We've got 1 to get to 40, 11 to get to 50. It'd be great to hit halfway before we end the show. Thank you so much for the
music.
the $10 from Bitter Pluto. What's blue and not so heavy?
It's math.
Light blue. Maxo Martin, thank you for the $5. Definitely jealous of the Space Wolf range as a Blood Angel. As Blood Angel was my first army and loved the unique unity before they got slathered in bland sauce. This is my problem. They've gone from what I think was probably the most unique range. I don't know, because Space Wolves were up there, to be fair, with the old
the Space Wolf range was very good.
Yeah.
In terms of extensive, like what they have access to, what they had. I just think it was just really, really, really nice. But as I've said, like Space Wolves are a real edge case army in the sense that they have a very, very specific aesthetic. The Viking-y,
they kind of didn't know.
Barbarian.
They didn't know. They do now. They do now. They didn't though. Their vibe before was sort of a bit Viking, and then a bit werewolfy. Yeah.
But like, that's still a very specific vibe.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. All right.
Whereas Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Black Templars, Jet Marines are all normal Marines with a bit of gilding. You know. That's why I've always said that Space Wolf players are a lot like Orc players. There's a very specific mindset to playing him. You know, and they're the same people that really like trains.
Yeah. I know what you're saying there. I hear the shade being thrown at me, Joe.
But you love both. So
Hey?
you love both.
What?
Trains and Space Wolves.
I fucking hate trains.
Yeah? But you did.
I like a
The
nice...
love was there.
I like it. No, it wasn't. I like a nice steam train.
Yeah.
But the trains that I worked with, I've never loved those.
No?
They just
little,
paid the bills,
just
mate.
little speeding bags of money.
This little
Some of the government sees them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think Space Wolf. I think you have to really care about that vibe, the Viking barbarian vibe. We doing? So yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, the writing was quite literally on the wall.
Yeah. What makes me sad about the Space Wolves is that I'd been given the go-ahead to do a Space Wolf army last year, and then Lee gave us his Space Wolf army. Fucking Lee.
I'm kind of glad we didn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad we didn't put loads of money into it.
Yeah, but then it meant I would have got to paint the Space Wolves, the new stuff.
I'll be honest with you, that would still be very unlikely.
Yeah. But I'm going to get... So, for instance, like I'm going to probably get a box of the Blood Claws and the Grey Hunters for my White Scars army. Because I need basic infantry for that army. So I'm going to need about 20 intercessors. And they're perfect for it. The poses are great vibe that I can make work with them. So
the Blood Claws also need minimal work to de-wolf them.
Yeah.
They're done in such a way that they're clearly wolfy, but a little bit of work and you can kind of get rid of that.
Yeah, like the studs is really good. Like having the talismans is fine for White Scars because that's what they have. So I think it's good and it's going to be really, really helpful. And then all I need is the speeders. And then I'm kind of done and I can start. Because I want to build it all before I paint it. Because the reason, like, because we're still waiting on some, I need to get some bits. It's like I don't want to paint half of it and then have to try and colour match white.
I think because of Max's comment though, I think a lot of people who play Blood Angels or perhaps certain other chapters are going to be a bit jealous of the Space Wolf range, to be fair.
Yeah.
They are so good. And they, I feel like I said, my literal only gripe is the fact that the head takers are incredibly monopose. And it's not the world's biggest gripe. I'm lazy as a kit basher, so it's partly a me issue.
Yeah, I think any Space Marine army can be made to look good if you try hard enough. Right? If you're willing to put the time, the effort, but also the money into it.
Yeah, the money's the thing. But like I said to you before the show, I just feel like it's weird, and you kind of touched on it earlier as well. I think it's weird. Here's a box of 3 head takers with 3 wolves inside. You can take 18 of each, but it's going to be very difficult to kit bash because of the way we built this kit. So you're going to probably you could end up with 6 of the same model.
Yeah.
Over the tabletop. And here's a lictor. You can only take 3 of these. But we're going to make sure you can make each one look very unique.
Mm. That's why I was really sad that the lictor net was never model of the year. Because it was quite possibly the best, I would argue it's one of the best kits that Games Workshop ever released.
I actually think I voted for it.
I did as well. Because it was so perfectly designed that there are 3 different builds for it. But realistically, there's about 30 different builds.
Yeah, there's 3 different builds with no conversion.
Yeah.
And kit bashing.
Where if you do different joint swaps and stuff, different leg swaps, different arm swaps, it came with like 3 different heads, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, there's 3 different builds if you literally follow the instructions.
It was a literal work of art in designing and engineering. And I'm like, where's this guy? What's he doing?
It gave me so much promise. Yeah. And then these head takers, like I say, they're probably my favourite like non-character unit in existence. And yet they have a design that is there is an alternative design, to be fair, to each model where you can take the shield off and put a sword on.
Yeah. I'm at Warhammer next Friday. If you design the lictor kit, come and see me and I'll buy you a drink for being amazing.
A G.
Yeah.
This is part of Joe's. Everyone at Games Workshop watches us all the time.
Yeah. Which will be evident.
If he comes and says hello. Yeah. Thank you, Colonel Claypool, for the $5. Me sitting sad face with 12 Blood Angels dreadnoughts because you could run a Whoops Hall dreadnought list in 6th, 7th sad face. If you want the real good news, do you know what you can do with Space Wolves in 10th edition? You can run the Whoops Hall dreadnought list.
The man's just opened his heart out to you and you've just laughed at him. Honestly,
it's just weird. But for me, it's weird that they go, you know that thing you could do, Blood Angels players? They take it away from you.
Yeah.
You know that thing you can do, Space Wolves players? Yeah, you can keep it.
Yeah, you can keep it.
And that thing that you can do is the same thing both of you could do, but now only one of you can do it.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It's weird. I don't understand.
But then I think if this codex didn't come with Bjorn, I think justifiably so, Space Wolf players would be a bit upset because he is a huge part of their heritage and their story.
Legit.
But then it's like, then they could have just done what they did to Blood Angels, Get a little icon, you just stick onto a Redemptor Dreadnought.
So honestly speaking, here's what I thought was going to happen. The old kit would get retired. No more old Bjorn, Murderfang, Venerable Dreadnought, etc. And then I was like, which is what I expected. And then originally, I fully expected Bjorn to be his own new Redemptor scale kit. Yeah. And then when that didn't happen, I was like, oh, well, now what do I expect? Maybe an upgrade piece like Death Company. Perhaps maybe a new front like plate for the old Redemptor or something. And then when that didn't happen, I was like, oh, maybe he's gone. I was genuinely surprised to see him in the book. I thought we would go down to a singular kit, that makes Bjorn, Murderfang goes.
Yeah. But then, I guess they would have to change the law on how Space Wolves feel about the Redemptor in general. Or they have to change the Redemptor law.
I don't love the Redemptor.
No?
No.
I like the Redemptor. I think it's a cool model. It's a shame that Games Workshop's pointed it to a level where you don't really take them.
No, I'm not a huge fan.
I do have 3 at home, I'm going to do for the Dark Angels because I really like the idea of running an army that's all -1 damage.
And plasma.
Yeah.
Because Dark Angels.
Yeah, but they have the plasma, and then you go 15 Deathwing Knights, 15 Redemptor Dreadnoughts,
15 Redemptor Dreadnoughts.
3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, and you go, cool. If you come at me with damage 2,
You're damage 1.
you're in danger.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think that's a really good. I say it's a really good idea. It's not.
Dan's hit on one of the reasons why I don't like it. It's a shame it's made up of 298,329 pieces.
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be. The Redemptor Dreadnought, it was hilarious when the Redemptor Dreadnought came out in the multi-part. They then released a push-fit Redemptor Dreadnought, which I thought was mental, because a Dreadnought, the torso is always the same. The legs are realistically always the same, but with a little bit of variation. And then the arms are normally always the same. So what they could have done is just made one Redemptor Dreadnought kit, which was the push-fit version with 2 different gun options, and then just had it so that you had front bit of torso, back bit of torso, bonk, legs, can either be like that or like that. And then you glue it together, and then the arms go on the side. So they have the technology.
We do.
They have the technology. They have the efficiency to do it. And they were like, no, we're going to sell 2. And then we'll also give the push-fit version the worst weapon options.
What does it have?
It had a flamer and the Gatling cannon, right?
Is the Gatling cannon that bad?
The Gatling cannon's great because it's like 12 shots, dev wound. It's just a really big assault cannon.
Yeah.
But realistically, what you want is the little Gatling cannon at the same time, because they're the exact same profiles. The little one's got less shots. So you just roll a lot of dice that all do dev wounds.
Ash, thank you for the Halo. Colonel Claypool, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
5 gifted memberships.
We're on 41, chat. You can do 50. I believe in you. I believe in a thing called love.
I hope that you, this summer, get to be an extra in the new Avengers movie. Because they're always filming in England, or they're filming all over the place. They're like, we need people to stand around, they're like, everyone run over there because danger.
Yeah. I mean, England's not great for him because he last super chat in US dollars, but
I mean, they're in America all the time as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan, for the $5. Seth should have a brand new plastic Primaris as a sorry for how dirty they did him. #Flesh Terrors. I think a new plastic Seth would be incredible, but I also think now it would send the internet into fucking meltdown.
Fuck's sake. I hate this kit.
The worst thing you can do, one of the worst things you can do is let people have something and then take it away as Games Workshop. You're going to upset people, right? That will piss people off. But what I think will then piss people off more is if, say, 3 years later, you then gave it back to them again. That would really upset people. On them, for the most part. Because a lot of people will get rid of their army or get rid of their faction or bin their model or whatever,
When I was dealing with dog problems yesterday...
yeah, dog problems if you didn't know, chat.
Is I very nearly messaged you and I was like, I'm going to be like, I'm selling my Blood Angels.
Yeah.
To pay for this. Because I was like I ran them the other day, and Paddy made sure it was the most boring game on the planet. But then I was like, out of all my armies, it's the ones I probably care the least about now. Like, if they did a new Seth model, I'd just do a new Flesh Terrors army.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you not be sad that you got rid of all your old stuff?
I would be, but then I'd be like, but then it gives me a new opportunity to convert stuff. I'm not quite happy with how I did like the earlier stuff.
Okay.
So it would have given me an opportunity to start again afresh. Maybe change how I did the reds.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Okay.
So part of me was like, yeah, I could just fucking sell it all off, and then start again.
Are you saying live on air that if anyone wants to buy a Flesh Terrors army for £1,200?
Yeah. Honest to God, yeah.
Is it worth that or is it worth more? What's it worth? How much is in it?
See. How much is in it?
Yeah.
Fuck loads.
No, I know there's a lot, but like...
Got two redeemers. 15 to 18.
3 Brutalis.
3 Brutalis. Yeah, 15 to 18 Blade Guard. 18 Zanguard. All the characters. 20 Assault Intercessory Jump Packs. 20 on foot. 20 Jump Pack Death Company.
There's quite a lot in it, isn't there?
Yeah, three Brutalis. A Redemptor Dreadnought.
Just one, actually.
Just the one, actually. Loads of characters. Company heroes. All the things. Some Terminators.
That's got to be worth 1,500 quid, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Minimum. With Joe's painting as well.
Yeah. And basing. And a lot of it's got fancy bases.
Is it?
Yeah. It's, yeah.
Ash has offered you a Mars bar or a blowy.
Unfortunately, the vet doesn't accept those.
No?
Maybe if I put a dress on, he might, but I doubt it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Offers to Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Toxtray has trumped Ash by saying he'd give you a Mars bar and a blowy.
Oh! The double.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ockigdor, for... Sorry, thank you, Evan, for the one gifted. Thank you, Ockigdor, for the $2. Possibly no Blood Angels player in the rules team. I don't think that makes any difference.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, that doesn't really matter.
Because the rules are really good.
Yeah. The rules aren't the... It's the modelling side of things where they kind of fucked it.
I also can't imagine that it's about who's in the design team, because, like, the person, if I remember rightly, the person who sculpted the Space Wolves is Daz.
Yeah.
Who I don't know if he's historically a Space Wolves fan.
Yeah, but he's also an incredible sculptor.
Exactly.
So it's not a case of whether they like the faction or not. It's a case of whether they're just a good sculptor.
Was really good at their job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Ben's a fucking legend. Thank you so much, Lime. You've had it for the $5. Looking forward to Heresy. Allergic to kit bashing. Glad you got yourself a Joe. Yeah, but Heresy kit bashing is different. Heresy kit bashing is like old school 7th edition kit bashing when all Space Marines could kit bash with all Space Marines.
Yeah.
You don't have to really do any cutting or green stuffing.
No.
Everything just fits together.
I mean, you can do if you want to.
No, I'm not going to do that.
But there's no need to do it.
Yeah. So kit bashing Heresy, as it stands, is like kit bashing when I used to kit bash Space Marines years ago, and I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me at all. If that means buying loads of kits and extra weapons and special weapons and heavy weapons and kit bashing it all together, it's fine because it just goes together. You don't have to cut bits, you don't have to snip bits, you don't have to green stuff.
No.
Cutting stuff and green stuffing stuff and making things and slicing hands and like fuck that noise. I used to hate it, legitimately used to hate it, when you used to have to cut the fucking handle off the bolt gun. Remember that, old Space Marines?
Yeah.
The old Space Marine plastic kit, we used to have to take the bolt, clip the bolt gun out, actually cut the handle off so that it could fit on top of the hand. I hated that.
As someone who used to buy second-hand models and resell them, a lot of people didn't even bother cutting the handle off, mate.
Really?
Yeah, so they'd had that's the hand. So this is the handle. Fucking, that's the handle of the bolt gun, right?
Yeah.
That's the hand, and they just go,
No.
Go on the fucking outside of the hand.
The problem is my OCD struggles with if I can't get something to literally fit perfectly. It's like I think it's Paddy. I don't know if we're allowed to tell people, but I think it's Paddy that stuck a Blood Angels banner onto his Sanguinary Guard.
Oh,
because they
I saw it. And
because they did make. I'm glad you had that reaction. So I'm not the only one that's picking on him. So I noticed that you could only have a banner if you took the spears. And you don't have a banner in the kit with the swords. Another way they did them a little bit dirty, a bit naughty.
that was
right?
that fully sent me.
I know it's triggered you quite a lot. So it was very difficult to go swords and banner because the only weapon that had a banner attached to it was a spear. So if you wanted swords and banner, which is a legal choice, you had to kit bash. And Paddy went, well, I'll just use the old Blood Angel standard bearer icon thing, and you've probably seen it on stream before. What you don't see on the stream, because we can't get the camera angle, is that it's a right-handed banner on a left hand.
Yeah.
Because all the right hands have got swords.
didn't.
So he's got a right-handed hand that's just stuck to the left hand.
Yeah, but what really pisses me off is that the banner that comes in the box set is built into the spear, right? And it's like, so his left hand also has a sword, and it's like, but that doesn't make sense because the literal wording in the book is you can give them a banner. But the banner is not integral to the spear.
Yeah.
So if he's got a banner, he doesn't have a spear, unless you specifically say he doesn't have a sword, he's got a spear. And that really upset me. So I had to basically go and get some other kits and basically convert the hands around the right way, which meant I then had to go and find old Sanguinary arms so that the left arm that would have the sword is then empty.
What I appreciated from that, though, Joe, specifically where I was going with this, is you're a person who was like, the left hand has to be a left hand and the right hand has to be a right hand.
Yeah, because that's how hands work.
Because that's how hands work.
Yeah.
I'm the same. So when it comes to cutting and chopping to make that a thing, I get irritable. Paddy is clearly a person who's like, I can have two right hands, it's fine. No one else is going to see it.
Yeah.
And I genuinely respect it. I'm not taking the piss here. I genuinely respect that as a thing. Like, I don't care. I'm just.
It's general lack of regard for humanity.
My toy soldiers are toy soldiers, and that's all I care about. I respect that kind of way of approaching it. It's just not the way it works for me. So if I end up with an unnatural gap or something that doesn't quite look right, oh my god, I can't do it.
Yeah.
It triggers me.
I never say
I'm
it.
bad at kit bashing.
I never say it to people's faces, but I don't like the way people do tufts on bases.
What way?
Because it doesn't look like natural grass. Because you don't get a tuft of grass on a base and there's like nothing around it. You know, not all grass is the same length. Not all grass is the same colour. So when you have grasses, when it's made worse on bases where people have done like a jungly one, and they've just gone. There's 5 tufts to spread around the base, jungle in it.
It always.
And I'm like,
it also always looks worse on bigger bases.
Yeah.
And there's these little tiny, like sporadic, little tiny bits of tufts.
Yeah, and they're all the same colour and they're all the same size. I'm like, it's not how grass works. Look out the window. You have different shades of grass, different groups of grass. There'll be different flowers in there, all right? It tends to have larger bits in the middle and it spreads out and gets shorter.
See, Joe's quite an elitist, chat. Also, exclamation mark gift. We're on 51.
Fucks me off.
We're on 51 gifts. We got over halfway, Joe. They did it. They got over halfway. Thank you so much to the people.
I'm like, where's the leaves? You know, I'm a fucking snob, but I'm like, you've done a wonderful job on your base. It's definitely earth. You know,
there's three things that I really, really, really want to get quite good at with this Space Wolves army, right?
Space racism.
Yeah, I want to get good at that.
Yeah,
that's not one of the 3 things though. That's just an extra. It's an added bonus.
Yeah.
The 3 things I want to try and get good at with this Space Wolves army, Joe, is transfers.
Yeah.
I want you to teach me how to do transfers properly.
That's also something Paddy doesn't know how to do properly.
I want you to teach me how to do it properly. He's picking on him because he's not here.
He's not here to defend himself. And he also.
Transfers, yeah, well, he fucked me off on Tuesday because he couldn't roll below a 5+.
Yeah.
Transfers, I want to get good at. Painting faces and hair.
Yeah, I can't do eyes. Eyes is the one thing I can't do. Lee does good eyes.
He does he does pretty good eyes. I want to get good at faces and hair. And then the third one is bases.
Yeah.
I want to do nice bases and I want to do. What I want to do is this sounds very cliche because it's Space Wolves, but I really want to do snow bases. But again, I don't want to do what everyone else does, where someone's just glued some white fluff to it. And it's just like a flat white fluff. It doesn't look icy or.
I'm a snob when it comes to snow because I feel like I've done my snow bases all right, but the people when they just go snow, just blob it on. I'm like, no, you have like a dense bit of snow which is incredibly white because it's very, very thick. And then as it goes out, it's melting, so you have to drag it.
Yeah, so
it creates like a wet area around
There's some things I want to learn, and those are the 3 things I really want to get good at with this army, because they're the 3 things I've never... My basing's been average. I've done transfers before, but not brilliantly, and I've painted the old face. But I've never really done them to a decent level.
Oh, he doesn't go in that unit.
He is sexy as well, that
He's
model.
really nice.
He's beautiful.
He was a real winner, because they were like, what does Death Guard look like? Let's make a model that looks like Death Guard.
Yeah.
Done. Also, why don't Death Guard people use Death Guard models for Heresy? Because they're all Heresy marks of armour.
You're going to trigger John.
And like the Siege of Terror, Death Guard were basically at this. That's how they're literally described in the books. The artwork for Warhawk is literally 40k. What's his name?
You're going to trigger John.
Matey boy. What's he called? Blubbernaut. The wings.
Okay. Also,
What's he called?
I have, to be fair, Dan, as well, to get back to our super chat. Blubbernaut with wings?
Yeah. Not type. That's Typhus.
Mortarion?
Mortarion.
Yeah.
Yeah. The artwork is just Mortarion.
The other thing, as I said on stream the other day, I am quite happy with the exception of the Primarch to let Joe basically do the Heresy Space Wolves army, and I think that'll make him very happy. Yeah,
It would help.
So, Arctic Dog, because I've taken the 40k Space Wolves and gone, they're mine. And
The problem is, it's when they call it plastic crack, I don't, as a joke, that's my problem. I have an itch that has to be scratched. I don't suffer from addiction to things. I suffer from addictions to musts.
Monster would disagree with you there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About addiction to things. Thank you so much.
It's so delicious.
Arctic Door. I nearly grabbed the can the other day, Joe.
Yeah?
No, actually, it's a lie. I nearly grabbed a can today, Joe.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite tired today.
I had a can of Monster the other day.
And I was like, it's just not going to be worth the ridicule I'm going to get from Joe if I sit on the stream with a can of Monster.
I won't ridicule you.
didn't
I'll be
bother.
like, welcome back. I had...
The problem is, it's fucking advertising. Because I've been watching a load of MotoGP recently.
Yeah.
You know what they've got everywhere?
Monster.
And Red Bull. And they all get on the podium. It's so cringe. They all get on the podium when they get their medals, and they all stand there, and you watch them turn the cans around, and they all stand there with the logo at the front, like that.
I mean, they're all being paid. Of
course they are,
I had an incredible can of Monster the other day. It's like orange cream soda flavour.
Oh.
It's the one with the sugar in it. But fuck me. I sipped it and I was transported to my childhood. It just tasted incredible, and it was cold on a hot day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, welcome back. You know?
So
good.
Okay, Dor, thank you for the $5. GW has been infiltrated by someone from the future, making them do bad decisions so they don't take all the money off the future.
What? I haven't read that. Where are we?
We're on Ocking Door's one that I've just
Looking
started.
forward. Games Workshop has been infiltrated by someone from the future, making them do bad decisions, so they don't take all the money off the future.
Yeah, so if they do all amazing refreshes right now, then they can't do a good refresh in the future. I think kind of what he's getting at.
Yeah, so they're spreading it out, right? Because Space Marines now, I'd argue that the range is almost complete. So for generic Space Marines, what's missing now? Assault Terminators, Vanguard Vets.
So I think
a unit with a heavy bolter.
I think the next stage for generic Space Marines,
better bikes.
I think the next stage for generic Space Marines is removing Firstborn. I think that's happening.
I think that will happen because looking at the Space Wolves now and the Stern Guard, the integration with Firstborn is realistically happening with the shoulder pads and the helmets. Where's my hoodie? Because I'm fucking freezing now.
You can turn the aircon off again if you want.
Yeah. Excuse me.
So yeah, I think they're going to get rid of them. There's a couple other data sheets that I think Centurions can get in the bin. I think we might see a couple of extra data sheets. When they remove all the first one, we might see a couple of extra data sheets coming. You go to the bathroom? Yeah. All right. Why not? Okay. But I don't know what It's a tough one, right? I've picked up 2 Vindicators for my Space Wolves specifically because I think they need some mid-range fire support to crack open things like transport so that the Blood Claws and Head Takers can get to the squishy insides. And I almost didn't buy them because I'm a little bit concerned that they might end up removing all the Firstborn tanks and transports and infantry in the future. Like, for example, Blood Claws and Grey Hunters now can't get in Rhinos and Razorbacks because they have the Tacticus keyword. And they're slow. I think they're slowly but surely. He's taking his microphone off, Kev. It's fine. I think they're slowly but surely pulling the rules in a direction that means that you'll choose to not take things like Rhinos and Razorbacks because why would you? Or tactical squads because why would you? And then they go, well, now no one's using it. We'll start pulling it away. I think they just did a bad release of Blood Angels. I don't think it was a conscious we'll do this badly now so we can do it better in the future. But I feel like Blood Angels did get done dirty and get done short. And I felt like that before the Space Force refresh. And then when they showed everything that they showcased for Space Force, when they did the first release, before they showcased all the extra characters, I was like, this is cool. I'm really into it. And then when they showed all the characters as well, I was like, fuck, that's a lot of stuff. And when I first saw the box set, even then, I didn't think that it was Grey Hunters and Blood Claws, because this is a Blood Claws sprue, and it is very different to the Grey. Well, it's not very different. It's quite different to the Grey Hunters sprue. They are different sprues with different heads and different bits and different aesthetics. And that surprised me. Now, granted, you only get 5 torsos that you build. So if you build a unit of 10, you've got duplicates of each torso. But because of the way Space Marine arms work, you can have 2 torsos running in the same direction, put different arms on, changes the dynamic, changes the way that it looks, changes the way the flow of the model works. But I was surprised by how much we saw for Space Force, to be honest with you. You get your hoodie as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Coronal Panic, for the 50 Danish creator. Joe, has Liam allowed you to keep up with the Gairan stuff? What's been your favourite? He's just got to get his mic back on. Have you kept up with it? Is this a pointless question? Shall I wait for you? We're still on 51 members.
It's not a case of whether he's let me, I just have.
Yeah.
Keeping up with it. It's really good. Really good. I'm a really big fan of it, because it's not... It's kind of like what we got with Grotmus, really, where they've gone, here is new additional rules for free. And they're quite in-depth. Right? It's new warlord. It's basically new detachments, new enhancements, new warlord traits, and a new version of a data sheet that's not a replacement. It just does it in a different way.
Okay.
And I really like that. So you go, these are my Scourge of Gairan Blight Lords. I can have normal Blight Lords. I can have these ones.
I hate that.
They're affected differently by the realm.
I hate that. That would trigger me.
It's also a get around of having to replace a data sheet that's not very good.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically what they're doing. But it's a get around, you know, it's seasonal rules, there's something they're trying out.
Is it one of those where you're ever going to go, well, there's a choice to take here, or is it one of those where it's like you're just going to take the Gairan version all the time?
No, there is a choice to make.
Yeah, that annoys me.
Some of them are better. Some of them work differently.
The reason why it annoys me is because sometimes some people struggle to be honest with what's on the tabletop anyway. So it annoys me that...
So when people go... So when you do your tournament, you can't take both. You can't take Scourge of Blight Gairan unit and the normal.
Right, so you have to choose...
You have to go, I've got 3 units of... what they called fanatics for the Gloomspite Gits. They all have to be the Scourge of Gairan.
Okay. All right. So that solves my issue with it.
Yeah.
That solves my problem with it. Then. Okay. That's
so
fine.
you could have, because sometimes they give you 2 data sheets in a book, like a character and a unit. The character can be that you can use. You don't have to use the Scourge of Gairan character. You can use your Battle Tome normal character, but you can then choose to take the Gairan additional unit.
Yeah, of course. You know? But if you had 2 units that are both clan rats, for the sake of argument, you couldn't have one as a Gairan one and one as a normal one.
No, they have to be.
That solves my problem then. So that's
and it'll be listed on their thing.
Yeah. But that solves my issue. If I don't want to, it's like having 2 units of 5 intercessors or 2 units of 5 tactical breaching, and that one's got a las cannon, that one's got a multi-motor, but they've actually all got bolt guns.
Yeah.
That would fuck me off. That's what I thought you could do. Obviously,
because it would be like if they went the new Space Wolves one, you could have like, I don't know, the Wolf Time event that lasts 6 months. And they go, here is an additional data sheet for, I don't know, what are you building now? Blood Claws.
Yeah.
Right? Where they lose the re-roll to wound, but they've all just got more attacks. You know? Or they move faster.
Yeah.
You know? Because they're imbued with the winds of Fenris, you know? They go, here's a new Wolf Lord. He's just fucking angrier. Or you got a Wolf Lord, but this one's being affected by the Canis Helix, who's a bit more werewolfy. So he's stronger with more attacks. And a bit tougher, but a bit slower. I really like that. I think it's really, really cool because it's like having seasonal narrative reasons for why things change. And then
the problem that Gyran has, for me personally, and this is just a personal thing, so this is not me saying that Gyran itself is bad. The problem that I've got with it is it's come out at the same time as Space Wolves and a new mission deck, which for me at the moment, and I'm happy for people to argue with me, I don't mind, but for me at the moment puts 40k in one of the best places it's been in a very long time. Again, part of this is personal because it's directly linked to the Space Wolves release, which is a huge thing for me because it's so perfectly everything I wanted.
Yeah.
But also, I think that new mission deck that we showcased on Tuesday that we're now using, I was still enjoying Prior Nexus. I was still enjoying that mission pack, and they're like, that mission pack you're enjoying, we've just made it better.
Yeah.
So if I'd have been in on for 40k for whatever reason, maybe I got bored of the mission pack and Space Wolves weren't coming out, and it was just a faction I didn't care about, like I don't know, G's to the cults or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a look because it's cool and interesting. Because it is cool and interesting.
Well, there is such a thing as information overload,
Yeah, and I have to, my brain is fried lately.
But it's all the time.
Because, hey?
All the time.
Mine?
You're always tired and ill.
I am
grumpy.
lately, mate, yeah. I'm not grumpy at the moment.
You need to have more electrolytes.
I need to have more...
Blowjobs. Giving them.
Yes.
You need to give more.
Yeah.
It's not about receiving, it's about giving.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
You put yourself forward here, right?
No.
Anyway, so... so because of that, I haven't really kept up with Gyran at all. But Joe gets as much of it as we do, as I do. So he gets all the stuff I get on preview.
But I've been absorbing more AOS stuff, externally as well. So I'm doing the golden. So where are we now? End of May. So we've got the golden ticket 40k event in June, and then I've got the golden ticket AOS event in July, and I cannot wait.
I actually would like to do a 40k event at Warhammer World because I've never done a 40k event at Warhammer World.
Haven't you?
Never.
They're so good.
Yeah.
They're so much fun.
You are the reason why I want to go to do a Warhammer World event because you're the one that says exactly that.
But I think I go with the right people.
Yeah,
well.
I'd be up with it. The problem is the tickets sell so fast. The idea, normally, the chance of doing a lads weekend is unless
you have to be on it.
Yeah.
You have to be on it, and they've changed it now for the better and for the worse. So the better, what they've done is you can't buy group tickets now. You can only buy individual tickets because they sell it so quickly. Because people were buying 5 or 6 and then see who their mates are going and then return the ones they don't need. Whereas now, by selling individually, I think they've got a higher attendance rate for the tournaments. Because there's some people that'll be like, I bought 5 tickets, but 2 people aren't turning up. So for Games Workshop, it's fine because they still made the money.
Yeah. But it makes the event slightly worse.
So so you have to be on it as a group.
I fucking love these models.
I'm
not bored. I'm just enjoying this. Thank you. So what's your favourite for Guy? Have you got a favourite for Gyran so far that you've seen, or is that just directly linked to the factions you play?
I sort of mentioned there, the Gloomspite Gits ones, the new Fanatics are good. I'm looking forward to using it because I've got a Gloomspite Gits army at home unbuilt, and I picked up a Dankhold Troggoth the other day because I've got loads of Trogs but no one to lead them. So I want to get that army built and done.
Yeah,
I'm just really I just really like AOS. I just really love it. I really enjoy it. I like the game. I'm very excited for the next season.
I still think 4th edition is a good edition on the whole, but now, especially now with New Heresy, there's a chance that it drops down my list of games. So at the moment, my favourite game to play is 40k, without doubt. And then AOS is a second for me.
But the thing is, the difference is that I play in my spare time.
Yeah, I don't.
Liam doesn't really hobby outside of work.
I don't really have spare time.
Whereas he's just because he's sat at home procrastinating all the time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Yeah.
Sits there like a fucking robot staring at the wall.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Whereas I
wasn't on a meeting this morning.
I have people. You just sat when I got here. You just sat down. Doing nothing.
After?
Just farting around.
What was the first thing you said when you walked through the door?
Picking your bumhole, I imagine.
What was the first thing you said when you walked through the door, Joe?
Don't know if I can't say it.
Oh, you've cleared all the table off already.
Yeah, but I literally said that I do that.
Well, I did it already. All done. And I hoovered in
Yeah,
here.
but that didn't take you. That didn't take you since Thursday night, did it?
No, because I was on a meeting at 10 o'clock. I was on a meeting at 10 o'clock this morning for an hour.
Lazy. So I but I play games with my friends at home. I meet my friends here. I go to my friends' houses to play games. I do tournaments. So I'm playing also, and I play multiple different games.
Martin says, "Get your gits painted, Joe, and I'll challenge you with my cities."
Yeah.
Yeah, his cities are fucking stunning.
Yeah, they're much nicer than mine.
Normally, I'd be like, "Oh, Joe," but they are.
Let's be honest, right? I'm like, he's like a professional artist. I am technically a professional painter.
You're a professional artist.
Yeah. But I would love to play Martin. Martin can come here and play a game, or I'd meet Martin at Warhammer World. Where does Martin live? Tell us, give me your exact address live on the internet right now.
He lives not far from Warhammer World.
Really?
What I'll tell you. Yeah, I won't say anything more. Either he can come here and we can do it on the stream, or we can just take a day at Warhammer World. You can play him, and I'll come and hang out and eat food.
That'd be so nice.
It'd be fucking great, wouldn't it? Are you up for that?
Right.
I'd meet you at Warhammer World so that you could play him and we could eat food and chat and go around the exhibition and stuff. I'd be well up for
I
that.
tell you what, I was
Fucking
really
love
excited.
Are you checking you can say something before you say it?
Yeah.
When I saw you pause instantly and reach for your phone, I was like, oh, he was about to maybe cross a line that he's not allowed to cross. In the meantime, whilst he's checking that, Caleb, thank you for the $5. You should look at Goblin Hobby Stamp Kit. It's basically just nail stamps, but has a bunch of runic stuff and looks better than transfers, in my honest opinion. Do they fit on shoulder pads, though? Will they go on shoulder pads?
What is this? Goblin
Hobby Stamp Kit. This is great content.
I've got a friend who's done a Space Wolves army before, and he used a rolling pin with the fur on it.
I've thought about that.
Bear with.
That's perhaps a future me.
I mean, I could. I'm up there next Friday, Martin. I could bring my Soulblight Gravelords if you want a game in the morning. Scourge of Gyran. Where is it? Can I? Caesar's, yeah. The Caesar Sigmar Scourge of Gyran. It's really good. Because there's one about cannons. Basically, me and Mr. Josh the other day were talking about having a 10 cannon cities army.
Yeah.
I really like. I think cities are in a much better place now than they were. What I like to see is loads of the hand gunners. I like just a line of cannons, hand gunners, and then a wall of steel helms. What's this?
These are stamp kits. So you can do things like that on shields and banners using stamps.
Okay. Like a potato stamp.
I don't know how. It looks like it wouldn't be the easiest thing in the world to use.
Yeah. If you want to play some AOS on next Friday, I'm down. Yeah, I love my cities army. I've got so many steel helms to paint though. I've got loads, so much. Just love Age of Sigmar. So much fun.
And cock.
Yeah, why not?
I'm just quickly watching this, Joe. Don't worry about me.
What are you doing?
I want
You're
to see how
watching
the
the
stamp
video.
thing works.
The fucking stamps, mate. You just.
Well, no, that's not how it works, is it? Because it doesn't give me a tutorial. I need to find a tutorial. Okay, that's.
And they made Cavaliers so much better now.
Thank you, anyway,
Cities
Caleb.
Cavaliers are banging.
Thank you, Kelly, for the heads up. Thank you so much, Dirt, for the one gifted membership. Thank you, Lionfinder, for the $5. I maintain the issue with Sangard was that it just doesn't have much detail. If you'd painted it black, I think it was just Raven Guard. They do lack a lot of detail, to be fair.
They kind of feel like they were designed by someone who was described the previous Sangard kit to them. without seeing them or knowing much about Blood Angels.
Yeah.
It was just a real miss.
I actually don't hate the kit, but I think I don't hate the kit, but I fully understand why Blood Angels are upset.
Yeah, like end of the day, what if it was still a nice Space Marine kit that went together well? It was nice. The problem was the entire Blood Angels release, apart from Asterath, was that it felt like it was designed by someone who had done it as a fake 3D print. You know, it didn't feel like it had been designed by someone. It was, when Games Workshop releases a really nice model, and then Basic Barry makes a really shit 3D print at home that kind of looks like it, but not.
And then tells you it's just as good.
Yeah, that's what they feel like.
Yeah. 3D printer goes brr. Oh fucking.
Like, yeah.
If you want to say a sentence that will mean that I will disengage with the conversation in the hobby with you immediately, say the sentence 3D printer.
If anyone goes to me, "I'll just 3D print it," then I'm like,
it's not that. It's the phrase 3D printer goes brr. The second you say that, I'm like, we're done. I'm not talking to you anymore.
I'm no longer communicating with an adult.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly that. Thank you so much, Cornet Ed, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Cornet Ed. I hope that Warhammer merchandise team releases a adult onesie that is exactly like a Khorne Berserker.
Oh, I'd wear that.
Yeah, I would.
Warhammer onesies when?
Yeah.
Well into that is an idea.
Yeah.
Thank you, Connor Ed. Thank you, Lonnie Penn, for the $10. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a different model team lead at the start of 10th. We had a shocker of a selection: the Admech Wobbler, the Votan Shield Captain, the mediocre Jumps. This is a battle, Cotiers. Yeah, it's not been like releases like the Eldar, Emperor's Children, and Space Wolves has kind of carried what has been a bit of a mid. Oh, and Krieg has carried what's been a bit mid otherwise, hasn't it?
So, I've said this many, many times, that 10th edition should have been the best edition of Warhammer. Models, rules, events, narrative, everything, right? It's the anniversary edition. What we have is a filler edition, so Games Workshop can have a rearrange of stock.
Yes.
Right? And they're going through a really... Turbulence is the wrong word. They're going through a very busy stage of improving the infrastructure of the company in terms of like how it's managed, but also buying new plots of land, getting new warehousing, releasing new game systems like Old World, distribution. Everything's had like Games Workshop itself through 10th edition is having a massive overhaul, becoming the company that it will be. But the problem is that the game has suffered because of it, in the sense that like 10th edition should have been the edition of editions. You know, 10th edition. We should in 5-6 editions look back fondly on 10th edition as one of the best things that ever happened.
Yeah.
But 10th edition is just the edition of loss. We've lost more than we've gained, right? Every book has just had a fucking axe taken to it in removing stuff willy-nilly.
Lovely new website.
It was the website was designed by
A child.
a fucking first year IT university student. They've gone, we're getting rid of metal, we're getting rid of fine cast, everything's going to plastic. The stuff we don't have time to do now will come again in the future, so just fuck it off, right? Streamline everything. Which in theory makes sense, but in practice really hurts your following. It's great for your business, it's not good for your following. My hope is the stuff that they've cut out will come back again. You know, will come back around in some form, in some variation. Because, like I said earlier, Space Marine, 40k Space Marines now are nearly finished in terms of generic Space Marine units. Like, we nearly have everything. So they have to stretch it out through 11th edition to fill those gaps, so that it means that in 12th edition, we start getting new, wild, exciting things. And every faction has to go through that.
Yeah, I think there is a degree of truth in the fact that they are clearing stuff out and getting rid of stuff as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, Forge World has just been... like...
Are you a pouch lover? Are you like a bits lover on Space Marine?
Okay, all right, yeah, cool.
Because like there's tons of like knives and empty knife sheaths and pistol pouches and stuff like that, which on the surface I love, but they often don't fit nicely and they're just more to paint.
The best pouches are the pouches on pre-molded models.
Yeah.
If it's pre-molded on, it's fine. But because of speed, the fact I just have to fucking bang armies out, pouches tend to fall by the wayside.
They just never look like they fit nicely because they're just kind of not really designed to. Like if they had a little bit that meant they sit in the belt nicely and it was a solid.
So the best
point.
ones they have are the Assault Intercessors with jump packs ones, because they've got a strap that goes around their legs, for like a strap for like a drop leg holster. So the pouches are literally designed to clip over the top of them. Great pouches.
So what you're saying is, typically you don't bother with them.
Typically I don't bother with them, unless I was putting in a lot of effort.
I do kind of want to put all the little ritual knife pouches on. They're cool.
It depends on how much effort I'm putting in.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Sprugly for the $5. In my opinion, Wolves have had weak models and rules for many years. It's about time we caught up. We were the first ever codex and the most divergent chapter.
Were they the first code?
I don't care. I'm going to agree with him because it's positive Wolves propaganda.
I don't think they were.
No, I'm going to say yes. I agree with you.
I think Dark Angels were.
Damn right, Sprugly. Thank you for the $5. Schooner, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
Schooner. Thank you, Schooner, for 5 gifted memberships. I hope that one day someone donates loads of models to you.
That's nice.
You donated loads of models to me recently, loads of Tyranid stuff.
To you specifically, yeah?
To me specifically, not you. No one.
Ben, thank you for the $9. There have always been Saturnine Terminators at the drop site, Games Workshop 2025. They said Vulcan gave the secret to all after he figured out the recipe.
Like I said, it's their narrative. They can do what they want with it. But it just fucks me off that there's been a very specific narrative for the last...
Are you a person who really cares about major narrative changes? So if a thing was a thing for the last 10, 15 years, and then they go, it doesn't really fit the game, the tabletop, the models we're releasing, we're going to change it, do you really care about it?
It depends on the scale. I think there's a sliding scale of stuff, right? So if they... Saturnine Terminators, realistically, whether they were there or not, I don't really give a shit. But in my head, I still know.
Yeah.
So like that, like I've seen the models. I look forward to using the models. You know, they're nice, they're wonderful. It's something I'll get over. If, when the End of the Death Part 3 came out, and they changed the law, Horus doesn't die, Sanguinius doesn't die, I'd be a bit fucked off.
Okay.
I think I'd probably have to take a minute.
Okay.
Because, like, Sanguinius not dying alters the entire 40k universe, realistically.
Yeah.
Changes everything. So, it doesn't really matter. Like, if they turn around and they were like, yeah, Dawn died, I'd be like, nah. He's disappeared.
Do you not think that's just as major, though, really? Because it's still a Primarch dying. Like, in terms of a law change, that's just as big a deal as Sanguinius. I think Sanguinius
I think it takes away the opportunity. So that it's like, Sanguinius being dead, you know you're never going to get the model for Sanguinius. Because he's gone. You know, at best, we might get like a scaled up Sanguinor or something, eventually. Some fucking mega lord. But the ambiguousness of the other Primarchs being missing is like, they could come back.
Yeah.
But killing off Dawn, killing off someone else closes that door, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's done and dusted.
I'm a bit like I thought I'd ask you the question first, but I'm a bit like, now you've set the law. You've set the law. Like if you don't want people, I sound very gatekeepery here, and I'm conscious of it. But if you don't want people to get really pissy when you change the law, don't allow authors to write great novella and huge books, and don't sell limited edition versions of those books that go for lots of money, so people can have big fucking leather-bound collections. Yeah. If you don't want them to be really into that lore, at that point, it's like, well, hang on, no, you've allowed people to really dive into this. If you're like, no, the only law is in codexes, and we reserve the right to change it, cool. But when you're releasing The End of the Death in limited edition series, and people are spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds to have a limited edition book set, at that point, I'm like, no, you should leave that law well alone.
Yeah, I like little changes to things that don't really make a big change in the grand scheme. Is it a change
at that point though? Is it a change? Is it an addition of information that we didn't have before that kind of tweaks it slightly? Yeah, different, isn't it?
There was a bit where Dawn's going mental in his little cage of solitude that Horace has put him in, where Khorne is trying to subdue him. If they'd gone the Emperor nearly died because Dawn attacked him, he had to fight Dawn and Horace. That would have been a cool little bit of lore, just a little thing to throw in there. It doesn't really ultimately change things, but I like the idea that for a very little tiny bit, Dawn fell to Khorne. I think that would have been a cool little thing to add to it. But it's not a massive change away from saying this person didn't die. It's like we're kind of experiencing it now in Marvel. So, spoiler alert, Tony Stark died, right? Iron Man died, sacrificed himself. There's a very big thing about him dying.
Endgame, wasn't it?
Yeah, to save the universe. It's a huge part of the character arc. And now they've kind of they've brought him back as Doctor Doom for Doomsday. But they're but it's in a different universe, so it's fine. And I'm like, still takes away from the...
It does, I think it does.
From the fact that he sacrificed himself and he died.
Yeah, a sacrifice isn't a sacrifice where they can come back.
Yeah. It's like Deadpool and Wolverine was a very, very good film, but it kind of ruined Logan for me. I know they made a very specific part that Logan is still dead. Your emotions about him dying are still valid. The one that we have now is from a different place. But it's still we mourned his death. We all had that emotion. We've moved on, and now bringing it back kind of
I'm with you.
That.
I'm with you on this one.
Yeah.
And I think it was you that said. Was it you? I think it was you that said that before Lucius became essentially unkillable.
Yeah.
Because if you beat him, he just took over your body.
Yeah.
He was more interesting.
Yeah.
Because he was more afraid of dying.
Yeah. He was I can die. Whereas now they made a short story about how he uses him dying as a way to infiltrate buildings.
Yeah.
So they where a chaplain or a judica kills him, and then eventually then he obviously takes over the judica, but at that point he's inside the building, And I'm like, it's less. Something.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Honestly, I'm with you on this one. And I think that adding little extra details in so that a tank can exist that we've never seen before, fine, cool.
Yeah.
No dramas whatsoever, I'm fine with that. Major lore changes irritate me, I don't like them.
But it's I know it's the controversy, the sisters, the female custodes, right? I have no issue with female custodes existing. And there is lore that could have led to the story of the first female custodes, right? Because they've always been men, narratively, but they're out in the universe and they're dying. They have to keep them at 10,000 because they are the 10,000. So they have to fill that hole of the people dying.
Giggity.
So they could have brought women in to fill that hole. But they went, nah, they've always been there. Never mentioned them. They've always existed, but we've never talked about them once.
Yeah,
it's just lazy lore.
Yeah, that's lazy lore. Yeah, and I think if they come in and say Saturnine existed at the Dropsite Massacre, it was there, but it has no other impact on the narrative. I'm like, cool, that's your lore. That's fine.
They were there, but they were in such low numbers.
Yeah, At which point I'm like, that's fine. That doesn't really impact anything.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Whatever. That's fine. It doesn't matter. If it's like actually Saturnine armor existed and it was a fucking dude in massive Saturnine armor that did this huge thing, you're like, now you're fucking around with it too much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Thanks, Scooter, for the $5. What other style of Primaris do we all think we could get or want? What more do you want?
I've said it so many times. Heavy bolter marine. I found a guy on Etsy that sells a life-size heavy bolter. 3D printed life-size heavy bolter.
Does it shoot bolts?
It doesn't. But I was like, I kind of want it to fire tennis balls.
Yeah.
So when I go and walk the dog,
Yeah,
I could just be in the field, just fucking.
Joe wants heavy bolter marines.
I just want. You get one heavy bolter marine in the stern guard. There's one that's in the command squad, and there's one in the heavy intercessors. I want a squad of them.
I want Gravis breaches.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
In the new Horde mode for Space Marine 2,
Right. Play.
Obviously you go in as your 3-man, but you gain resources for other things to bring in stuff. So you can bring in like squads of Cadians, you can bring in a Redemptor Dreadnought to help you and support you, but you can bring in other Space Marines and you can pick what class they are. So I'm like, why wouldn't it just be heavy bolter guys all day, every day?
Thank you, Leaks, for the $5 for the Hounds Fanny Fund. Appreciate you.
Thanks, mate.
And Donis, thank you for becoming a Hasir member all by yourself, your legend. Evan, thank you for the $5. Does the tunic remind you of your judo days? A little bit, actually, yeah. It sits sort of similar. I've got a fancy one that's got all like black leather lacing on it and stuff.
I used to do judo.
It's really nice. I'm chilling over, thank you, Christian, for the $5. I'm chilling over with the Hobby Collab. They say hello and good morning. Deathwing Knights are the best. I can't believe you're chilling with them with us, but thank you for the $5. We'll allow it. Game Monk, thank you for the 1 gifted Demogorgon. And thank you for the 1 gifted Chaotic Failure. Ben, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. You absolute hero.
Thank you.
Fuck, is that the time? Jesus.
I hope that somebody cleans your car for free, inside and out, full valet service, everything. You know, and then afterwards gives you a little spritz as well. You know, no spray, no lay.
I remember those people.
Yeah.
Thank you, legend. Warhagen 40k, thank you for the $20. Joe, have you ever played a game with an all dreadnought or close to all dreadnought army?
No,
Go on.
but I could get there. I have the tools to do so.
Have the technology.
Yeah,
I've played against one.
yeah,
Lee.
yeah. I've played against them. I've never.
If you look in the box, there's a load of dreadnoughts he's got.
Yeah.
Because he did an all dreadnought army, and he's thinking about doing it again with new Space Wolves using Primaris ones. So he's thinking about doing all dreadnoughts for Space Wolves with Bjorn, 3 Redemptors, 3 Brutalis, 3 Ballistas.
Yeah,
I don't know if I think it'll be any good.
I think it'd be all right. I think triple Brutalis, triple Redemptor's got some. The thing is though, Blood Angels do the all dreadnought army the best.
They don't because they haven't got a character.
Yeah, it's true. They don't have a character anymore. Sad times.
That's weird. His shoulder's really high. That's fine. Whatever. Thank you so much for the $20. I know you're a legend. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've played against it. I haven't played with it. I played against it. It used to be all right. I think it actually struggled quite a lot now, if I'm honest. Ben, thank you for the 350. Suffer not the mutant. 2 right hands. What the fuck, Paddy? I know, yeah. Burning.
I was so disappointed when because Paddy's converted an entire Alpha Legion army, right? Where he's literally cut obliterators and centurions in half because he's done the like one side is a loyalist marine and then it obviously like does the filter thing into the Alpha Legion armor and like a chaos side. And it's really nice. And he went through all the effort converting that entire army, but he can't put a banner on a left hand.
No, he seems to have struggled to do that, which makes me laugh. Sorry, it's the next super chat. It says something about Discord. He says, the Lord of the House Corver says, just posted my converted Necrons in the gallery in the Discord. Would you think that's too much Kitbash conversion to play against bombardment? That's a lot of Kitbashing that's gone on here. I mean, if everything's, as with always, if everything's clear as to what it is.
Yeah, I think conversions, if the conversion is clear to what it is, I don't think there's a problem.
There is a lot of converting going on here, though.
But, you used the Osiarch stuff in things.
There's a lot of Osiarchus and Nighthaunt.
Yeah, I've seen some really nice Necron armies where the flayed ones are like the Nighthaunt top half, like the chain rasp top half with the swords, and then they've got Necron legs and stuff. I think it's fine.
Yeah, as long as your opponent knows what it is, I think.
Yeah, as long as it's obvious.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, that's super cool. Thank you, Danny John, for 20 gifted memberships. We're on 71 team. 4 to get to 75. That'd be great. 4 more people with 1 each. Go.
Yeah. I hope, John, that your Horus Heresy box set is delivered to your house by a scantily dressed Scarlett Johansson.
I like that.
Yeah.
Scry, thank you for the $10. CSM should be able to use the Heresy vehicles and dreads since A, they canonically only have old gear, and B, GW has made 8 new vehicles for Space Marine and has only removed even more vehicles from Chaos. I agree. I don't think you'll get any argument from Joe and I.
I've had that rant many times. Just let's have it. You know? Because when you think, like, Space Marines have access to so much stuff. You know? So much stuff. Knights, assassins, you could literally put sisters in there, you could put inquisitors. They just have access to everything.
But I don't care now because I'm a loyalist player.
Yeah, because you've got everything.
No, I'm Space
If you
Marines.
wanted to, you could put Death Watch in it. You know what I mean?
I'm Space Marines now, so I have access to everything.
You have access to everything.
Yep. You can continue to be the Chaos player.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Chaos players having access to all the Chaos stuff. I got so sad when Decimators went away and things like that. Like, it just didn't really make
The
sense.
Leviathan Dreadnought was the day where my heart died.
Yeah, I get it.
I lost a part of my soul.
Thank you, John, for the $20. Liam, where is it, damn it? What do you mean?
You willing?
Do you mean New Heresy? Because, I mean, they only announced it like last week.
Yeah, we don't know. Don't know, John.
No.
We haven't even got a box
I don't
or
even
anything.
I don't even know if I'm on the list.
We don't even have a box to break NDA with by showing everyone. You know, not even in that position.
Yeah, let me ask. Not now live, but you know.
Yeah.
Kaz, thank you for the $5. I was met on Sangard until I saw them with Dante at Warhammer World, then it clicked. Them having no default battle line or their own dread is more egregious in my opinion. Yeah, so New Sangard kind of fit with New Dante. They look right next to him.
They're fine next to each other. The fact that you didn't get a Sanguinary Priest to join them, I thought was a bit weird.
Yeah, 100%.
The lack of jump because the Sanguinary Priest can't join them or Death Company, but historically he's never been able to join Death Company. But the fact that you've got a character that can't join any Blood Angels units is super weird. So the internal balance and the integration of units inside the Space Wolves book is really, really good. The people in that book could only join the units in that book.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I think it's great. But the Blood Angels one is a bit weird. The main thing that upset me was the fact that we never got a Death Company box, even a 5 or a 10-man unit Death Company, and Space Wolves got 2 battle line infantry units.
He's very upset about that.
And a 3-man elite infantry unit, like Sangard, and Terminators.
I know what your problem is. What's your problem?
It was just a bit of a spit in the face. I don't want Space Wolf players to be upset because you've got a really good deal, and I'm super happy for you having a really good deal. And having more new cool units is what we want in life, right? You don't want to lose, you want to gain.
It's all about them gains.
Yeah. Technically, Space Wolves didn't lose anything apart from a couple named characters. But they gained new units as well.
Gained a lot. Space Wolves gained a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm also one of those people that's happy to trade the units that we lost in for the kits that we've gained as well, specifically.
But I find it really weird that they took away the Thunderwolf characters. So they took away the characters that don't have models, which I get. They didn't make a generic Space Wolf, like Wolf Lord. on a Thunderwolf.
Just not having a generic Wolf Lord in general makes me a bit sad.
I don't mind that. That like they didn't make a model for him, so you don't have the rules. But getting rid of Harold and
with his bulbous nose,
and Hamster Wolf, like that's just getting rid of money.
No, they were shit. You can't tell me they sold lots of those.
I can't imagine they did, but they still sold them. You could have made them made to order, you know?
The funny thing as well is this is another thing that makes me laugh, right? When people go Games Workshop, they just do things to make money. They do lots of things that I think lose them money, if I'm honest with you. And surely there's a balance act, there's a cost analysis that they'll do at some point, and they'll go, this will lose us money in the short term, but make us money in the long term, etc. But like, if they'd have gone brand new Thunderwolf kits, sculpt the way that we sculpted all the other new stuff with a brand new Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf, etc. Like that's just printing money.
Yeah, but
especially with their new rules.
At the end of the day, there's only so much space, isn't there?
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, like, this is my point. If you look at the rules of Thunderwolves in the book, releasing a new kit alongside that with new Thunderwolves would just be them printing money.
I think Thunderwolf stayed. Obviously, the resin people went because Finecast is going away.
And no one's buying it.
I think that next edition, you'll get a Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf and maybe new Thunderwolves.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Do you reckon they plan that far ahead?
Well, yeah. I reckon so. Well, because you've got to think, right? This is Warhammer 2025. But these would have been. So they've got the little dots, right, on the sprues. So these dots here on the sprue. Each dot represents how many times this sprue has been changed to fit the pieces. Yeah, that's like a remold mark. So like they would have changed positions of the heads or the arms to fit as much as they do onto the sprues.
Is that Jen?
Yeah. So that sprue has been reworked that many times, like 5 or 6 times, as well as 5 or 6 dots on it.
Okay.
So, some have more, some have others. So that the design process for those space walls would have been years ago. If they have to produce 20,000 of each box, that has a print time and a development time and a design time. They would have been probably made last year in terms of actually the final product would have been done and then sent out to be boxed, like the sprues. They are years and years ahead on everything.
Yeah.
Maybe not the rules are years and years ahead as they've shown, but I think the models themselves would have been years and years ahead.
I didn't know that about the dots.
Yeah.
I learned something today.
So I think they've gone like, well, these are going to be released then, and we need to release something afterwards. So the next Space Wolf stuff is probably already being designed.
You reckon?
Yeah.
See, that I'm not sure about now.
No?
That seems a bit extreme that the next stuff's already designed.
But they can't release it all at once, because if they essentially complete an army, how do they make more money from you later?
Yeah, I just don't think we're going to get more than I don't think we'll get more than just like maybe a character next time.
No?
No, because they've just had a big release. Well, they were saying that they did that with Aeldari, didn't they?
Yeah.
They went big release, and here's another big release.
And then a big release, and then another big release.
And they went big release for Cadians, and we're like, oh, cool. And they went, and now have Krieg.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm talking out my arse.
So I think the next Guard release will be a new regiment, for instance.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
What is even the right one?
Anyway,
yeah.
Thank you, last son of Nostramo, for the $5. Sangard are better as Minotaur's jump troops with a head and shoulder swap. That sounds quite cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's probably right there, to be fair. Thank you, Big Bad Pete Game, for the $2. Do we see the Viking outfit tonight? Bombardment? We don't know. It's not completed. I need the trousers and the belt. And then I'll be prepared to come and wear it. And the head tattoo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lightning Panda, for the $5. Space Wolves are the Ultramarines of the Divergent chapters. Out. Get out.
As in they get all the love. I'm assuming. But yeah, these three.
You can't call Space Force Ultramarines.
They're as strict about their divergence as the Ultramarines are as strict as they are with their linearness. You know?
And then thank you, Ramaclock, for the $5. Imagine being given functional Terminators, sad and jealous Emperor's Children noises.
Oh.
You know my Wolfguard Terminators in here, Joe?
Yeah.
That have permanent -1 to wound even if they're not being led.
Yeah.
And have storm shields and have 4 wounds and all that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
I could take them in 10s.
Yeah. So you got new Terminator rules and sculpts, and they allow you to take more. And Emperor's Children, they went out, you'll have less than Space Wolves, and you can take the normal Terminators, but we're going to make sure you buy less.
Do you have any leaders for them?
Oh yeah, I do. The noise, the Lord Cacophonus can join them.
Can he?
It's a fucking weird choice.
That's odd. Okay.
Like,
Well, I can take 30 Terminators, 3 units of, and I've only got 2 leaders.
I do find it weird with Games Workshop choices where they have the opportunity to make more money and they don't.
Yeah.
Like, no. So what's interesting, right, is everyone complained that there's no Predators and Vindicators and blah, 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 blah in Emperor's Children, right? But Death Guard, like, World Eaters players aren't going, oh, I need all the Predators. They're going, I want fucking Forge Fiends, because Forge Fiends is bonkers. And none of the Death Guard players are fucking falling over themselves to take Predators, are they?
No.
Really. And same for Thousand Sons. You have access, but that's what the Emperor's Children situation is. I'd like to be able to take them. I might not, but I'd like to. In the Emperor's Children, I probably would take them because they need long-range firepower. You don't have access to. But it's like, if you're giving Emperor's Children generic Terminators, why not give them a generic Terminator Lord?
I don't understand why, because if you think about it, like, none of them really have generic lords now. They've taken all the generic lords out.
Well, they have and they haven't, right? So Death Guard have their own generic lord.
He's not a lord, though, strictly.
He's not a lord, but he is the lord equivalent.
Yeah. World Eaters have got the lord
On Juggernaut.
on Juggernaut.
Yeah. Emperor's Children have the Lord Exultant.
What's interesting as well is, oddly, in the old rules, the unique chapter of the Legion Lords was Lord of Juggernaut, and then Death Guard had the Lord on Palanquin, do you remember?
Yeah.
And then...
You had the Sorcerer on the disc.
yeah, which you still have Exalted Sorcerer on disc now.
Yeah.
What did Emperor's Children have? I can't remember.
Nothing.
Do they not? They must have had something.
They didn't have anything. You had Noise Marines and Lucius.
That's odd. I thought they had their own specific...
Emperor's Children have always been the smallest, and I get it. Like, because they're the most, like, in the sense of, like, they don't really play well with each other or others.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, why limit Emperor's Children to 3 boxes of Terminators when you can get them to buy 6?
Yeah.
Why limit them to only 3 Morlophine boxes when you can get them to buy 6?
But then I think maybe, and maybe I'm being... Consider what you just said about thinking that they've already got the next Space Wolf range potentially designed. If that's true, perhaps they already have the next Emperor's Children wave designed. Perhaps that next Emperor's Children wave includes beautiful Terminators, and what they don't want you to do is buy 30 Chaos Terminators, and then they bring out these new Terminators and you go, fuck you, Games Workshop, I've already bought 30 Terminators. Maybe they go, we'll make their rules dog shit, we'll restrict you to 5. So if some lunatic decides to take 3 Terminators, he's only buying 15 anyway.
Yeah, but...
Not that I think Games Workshop are a company that, like, will save them money.
Yeah, but the same argument could be said for World Eaters. You want Red Butchers, right?
I really want Red
Everyone's screaming out for Red Butchers, but you can still take 10 Terminators.
Yeah. Just, I think it's because they knew that you were going to play them.
They were like, Joe really wants to do those. He's been holding out for them.
Joe
for
really wants to do Emperor's Children. He loves Terminators. Lol, these are the only ones we'll restrict to 5s.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
Yeah.
It's just and like locking the demons, like locking the demons but into one detachment, I find really, really weird as well, because the detachment's okay, it's not great, and it's almost like incentivizing people not to buy the demon kits.
Yeah.
So you go, I can only run them in one detachment. If you were like, you could take 500 points, then you're more likely to spend more money on demons. Because you could go like, well, I'll go buy one of each unit because I can play around.
Well, yeah. Well, this is actually a really good hobby chat.
Yeah, I just think Games Workshop has the opportunity to make more money, and they don't. I've always found that weird.
Well, again, what we don't do, which I'm sure they will be doing as a multi-billion pound FTSE 100 company, is we don't do the cost analysis. We don't do the how much to make this kit versus how much are we going to get, what return are we going to get on this kit.
but like
because making a kit isn't just making a kit and sell it.
But this isn't the case. We're not even talking about them designing a new kit. It's just selling more of what they already sell. They already sell the generic Terminator kit, so they could sell more generic Terminators.
Yeah.
Like they could sell more Predators. They could sell more Defiers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That is true. Okay.
Yeah, there's no cost analysis in the terms of I want to make more money from selling something that we already produce.
Give up all that stuff though to have access to Leviathans and Decimators and stuff like that? Would you be like, I'm okay with not taking the Predators that everyone else can take because I get access to a Leviathan Dreadnought?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Yeah, got two at home. They'd be pink immediately. Just like, plop, dip, done, ready, go.
Liam, can Space Wolves use regular Terminators as well as Wolfguard? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Space Wolves book, as with every Loyalist supplement, doesn't restrict anything that you can take from the main codex. The only supplement that does that is strictly Black Templars, which takes, if you use a Black Templars attachment, then you can't take Librarians, and it also tells you that you can't take things like, if you have a Black Templars version, Black Templars Gladiator, Reaper, you can't take then a Loyalist one because you can't have 6 of them. Because that was a way of circumventing it. 3 would have multi-melts, 3 wouldn't. That's literally the only restrictions. Otherwise, Space Wolves basically says you can take everything that exists in the Space Marine Codex. There's no restrictions that I found in that book whatsoever. There are some weird interactions though. So when you do start looking at certain stratagems and certain enhancements, etc., just have a quick look at the keywords. Some of them will affect Adeptus Astartes units, some of them impact Space Wolves units, some of them impact Space Wolves infantry, etc. So there's a couple of keyword issues there. As it stands as well, as far as I know and as far as I'm aware, unless I've missed something, as it stands, generic Space Marine characters can't join Space Wolf units, and generic Space Wolves characters can't join generic Adeptus Astartes units. So you can't have Arjak leading a unit of standard Terminators. He's got to lead Wolfguard. You also can't get a standard Space Marine Terminator captain and have him leading Wolfguard.
Super says there's a core Marines errata says that Space Wolves can't take Apothecaries, Tacticals, or Devastators. So they got rid of an iconic Space Wolves unit, Longfangs, and they can't
that's
take
the current errata though from the previous supplement. So I expect that to be changed when the main codex comes out.
I can understand tactical Marines and Apothecary. Well, the thing is though, they got rid of the Wolf. No, who's the Apothecary?
The Wolf Priest exists.
Yeah.
So I would imagine we still can't take tactical. When the book updates, I imagine we still can't take tactical Marines and Apothecaries. Yeah. I'd expect the Devastators to be updated simply because we've lost Longfangs. So that will be changed. Yeah. But no, Terminators, you can take Terminators to your heart's content. That's fine. Cool. Right, we happy? We good? Joe, we have done an extra hour and 15 minutes.
It's good going, isn't it?
It's really good going, yeah.
We're quite hungry now.
We still only got to 71 members. I tried to hang on there, but you know. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on the Liam and Joe Show. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've built my 5 torsos and backpacks and 2 arms. I'm a slow builder, but I'm very much enjoying the process.
Yeah.
Joe is yet to fully commit to an army for our crusade.
For the crusade?
Yeah. You'd have to commit now.
Well, the thing is, though, I know what I want to do, but Loyalist Marines versus Loyalist Marines in crusade, I don't like the idea. I don't like that concept.
No?
I don't really want to do... So what I want to do is I want an army that I can convert and have loads of fun built. Because if I'm going to take longer to produce it, because I'm essentially waiting for you...
Which you will be.
Which I will be.
Yep.
I'd rather have something I can put more effort and time into, not just painting, but also building.
Have a think about it.
Whereas Genes to the Cult, there's not really much converting.
No.
So that's why I'm kind of leaning into a Chaos army, into a Chaos faction. So it's like, I've got the options So I've already committed Iron Warriors to the Heresy box set because I can use both. So like Word Bearers, I'm thinking about.
Word Bearers would be cool.
Would be cool.
You could also do potentially Drakari.
So Drakari, I want to wait. I want to wait until we see the new Drakari book.
Fair.
Right? Because I don't want to invest in Drakari and then because I think we're going to get new Cabalite Warriors, new Witches.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the Witches and the Cabalites are really, really nice kit. And I don't think they need upgrading, but they are hobbits next to Eldar Guardians now. Yeah. The scaling is all off on the Eldar range.
Yeah.
Lion Panda, I've already got Night Lords. Unless if I added more Night Lords units, I could do.
Start an actual Night Lords warband, yeah.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Start an actual Night Lords army, which would be cool.
Cool. Okay. We've got a couple of late gifters. Citadel, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
I hope that you get bitten on the penis by a spider and it gives you Spider-Man-like powers.
And thank you, Cray, for the 5.
That's where the web comes from.
Thank you, Cray, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Yeah.
Maybe better than being bitten on the penis?
Yeah, but like, where was the web going to come from naturally?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We've got up to 81, which means you beat Monday Night Crew.
Cray, I hope that a Vashdor warband could be cool.
Yeah, I'll give you Vashdor as well. You've got him built.
Yeah.
You don't have to build him. I've done it for you.
I do like the Night Lords idea. I do really. Night Lords are a great conversion army as well.
Yeah.
Night Lords are really strong as a modelling army. Cray, I hope that next time you buy pick and mix sweets in the largest tub, right? The scales break and it's like they only charge like £2.
Amazing.
Because those things are fucking extortionate. Also, you have to learn how to do. You have to there's a real art to filling pick and mix tubs. My favourite pick and mix sweet is the yellow belly snake.
Yeah.
So what I have to do, Tamsin always laughs at me, is I wind it. I literally have to press it in and then wind it in a circle on the outside of the tub, and I basically do it all the way to the top. So I still have the hollow inside. And you have to fill every fucking ounce of space.
Yeah, okay.
Because some places charge you by pot.
Most places by weight now, isn't it?
A lot of places by weight, but like places like B&M are like by pot.
Scry, thank you for the $5. Loyalist Night Lords you get Primaris variety, but a better faction. It would still be Space Marines versus Space Marines strictly then, but I guess it's still Space Wolves versus Space Marines.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stuart, for the 1 gifted, and thank you, Cass, who says, sounds kinky, Joe. We'll find a spider. We are legally not responsible for what happens if you go and find something like a Black Widow. Right, cool. Okay. We need to go anyway, because we are now well over. Why do they do that? Why do they wait till we're like about to go and then be like, we'll keep you here longer? Thank you for hanging out with us. Tonight, Joe and I are playing some Warhamsters. I'll be bringing Space Wolves again, probably Saga of the Bold this evening. The list will be very similar to what I ran on Tuesday to try and keep you remembering what the fuck I'm doing. So look forward to that one this evening at 7:30. Tomorrow I'm back also at 8:30 with After Dark. Thank you for all of your super chats. Thank you for all of the engagement. Thank you for all the over 200 likes, chat, which is amazing. Yeah. And thank you for 82 new members. You are insane.
What we could do at some point, you have to over a weekend, do like a gift-a-thon. So like every gifted member adds 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think it would work.
Why?
Because we already fucking bleed them dry every week. Yeah.
Really tap into them.
Yeah.
Get some strippers or something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, perfect. Hopefully we'll see you tonight at 7:30 for the live brand new Space Wolves game. And if not, we'll see you wonderful human beings in the next one.
Bye. Have a wonderful time.